What's up, guys? Luki here for the Boys Season 3 Spoilercast. Listen, my phone is off, so I don't know if Slomo texted or called me because he was supposed to be on this too. So not sure what's going on with that. Um, but I have Connor here, I got Ever here, and we're gonna talk about our thoughts on Season 3 of the Boys. And I'm looking forward to. Oh, there he is. I'm looking forward to discussing it. So, what's up, Slow?
Yeah, what's up? I did send you a text message, but I guess I heard you say you didn't see it. So
Yeah, my phone's off.
Yeah, Slow-Mo, you just missed when we were talking about how every episode of The Boys was better than Dune.
yeah, that didn't happen. So
doing Dune talk. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dune slander.
I know the only person on this panel who has like terrible taste is you, Everborn. So I just I knew that that only came from you, and you were the only person that would say something so slanderous. And
I had been planning that joke for the last 48 hours. I'm not gonna lie.
All the hate, it's gonna be great when part 2 of Doom comes out and everyone's loving it,
and it actually has
and you're bah humbug over there.
All right, well, maybe it'll have a decent ending this time instead of ending on not even a cliffhanger. But anyway,
kind of a cliffhanger, a little, not really, but kind of,
This man thinks Medea is a better director than the guy that directed.
His name is Tyler Perry, sir, and he doesn't.
He is Medea.
He doesn't
as far as I'm
use lens flare. God damn it! That man has a studio, a whole 30 acres in Atlanta, in Hotlanta.
This movie's still trash. Anyway, Luca, what's going on? What we got going on?
Okay,
but he didn't make The Last Jedi. I'm sorry. That's it. I'm done.
So I thought we could talk about our general thoughts on the season and then go through this list I have here. I wrote down all the characters so we can go over them too. Overall, opening thoughts. Yeah, I thought it was a great season. Way better than season 2. Season 2 was kind of depressing. So it was nice to have a little bit of something different. Depressing in the sense that some of the topics they were covering were very heavy at the time, and things were happening in the real world that mirrored those topics. So it was just kind of a little bit too much all at once and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, overall, I just thought it was a way better season. I thought every episode was excellent. There was not a down moment at all for me. Because for season 2, it took me a bit to actually get through and watch all of the episodes. But for season 3, I pretty much kept up. So
cool.
This was appointment viewing every week for me and the missus. It was this. I think this was the best season.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, I felt it was the best season for the show. I feel like the first season before what to me was the best season, but you can kind of see now where the writers and the actors are the writers are hitting their stride with the script. The actors are fully invested in their characters, and really you can start to see the character growth really happening. I don't feel like Homelander had a lot of character growth up until now. Seeing him be scared, seeing him kind of being put into a completely different role where he's now running things, and seeing how it's not as easy to run things as he assumed it was. Seeing how there might be people out there that's just as strong as he is, and realizing that kind of how we had some before the season some fan theories and stuff about who Homelander could beat, and it was always the big negative to him. Sorry about my phone. Was that he's never actually had to fight anybody that was on his level, and one of the issues that he's always had is that he just he never really had to get good at fighting because he didn't need to, and that was you saw the effects of that in this season where people who may not have been necessarily as strong as him, but definitely about that life, definitely going to give him that smoke, was putting the work on him, and he was just oh, wait a minute, like I can't just bully my way through everything. So I
Yeah.
thought that was great.
Yeah.
Just everyone's character growth was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Connor.
I think that this is easily the best TV show of 2022 so far. I don't think it's really up for debate at this point. I think that this has really been a really great season of payoff, especially Herogasm. I think that is some great television, along with how, like Slomo, you said, like they're really building with their writing, and it's so different from the comics that it's kind of crazy when you think about it because of like the source material and the author and how they basically have embraced their entirely own style that kind of makes some of the elements that they introduced in the comics like a bit cooler, in my opinion. Like Homelander in this show is pretty complex and pretty multi-layered. In the comics, he's kind of one-dimensional in a lot of ways, and that has a lot to do with sort of, you know, Garth Ennis, the author, and his sort of disdain for superheroes in general. But yeah, I had a blast with this season. They even closed it out surprisingly really well, which, you know, is kind of hard with finales these days, and especially in comparison to the Disney Plus shows. This is leagues above any of that.
Under the bus with Disney Plus. No, but I Connor, I agree. And I also want to add, like, and I've been a big proponent of this, and me and Slomo argue about Halo, which is a completely inferior show to this and doesn't even deserve to be mentioned.
It's an inferior show to most things, but sure, go ahead.
Right. So, but we do debate about how close something needs to stick to the source material. And I think this is how you adapt something while making it your own, right?
Yeah,
and taking advantage of the medium you're in. You don't have to go page for page and word for word when you're doing an adaptation. And this is, I think, a prime example of that. One thing I do want to say about Homeland, although he is terrible, although he and his followers are an allegory for Donald Trump, at least Homelander is not racist. I will give him the credit where it is due.
Yeah, he just uses racist to feed his
absolutely,
ego.
Absolutely.
He's still evil.
He's still evil. Absolutely, complete scumbag. But you know, there's one thing he's got going for him.
I just real quick, I just wanted to say, but and I'll let you continue. I do agree with you guys about adapting the comic material to big screen or to television, and how well of a job they're doing with that. It is difficult to take something that would make sense in the comic form or is accepted in comic book form, but knowing damn well, like if we actually depicted this with like live action with real actors, people would like lose their minds or freak out or whatever, or it would completely lose the plot. So how do we make this work, and what do we change, and how do we like justify the changes that are made, so that like the audience and even the fans of the series who read the comics get it and understand? I think they really nailed that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I think Sly0131 in the chat says Boys is a parody of everything television. I think The Boys is a parody of America and
of America,
consumerism. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know we're going to go by each of the characters, so I won't do that yet. But opening thoughts on the season, I think that I guess I'll save that for the end. I don't know how it could get better for this, so I'm almost worried about season 4, that like so many shows that started off really strong, like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, that, you know, this is the best it could get. But I'm rooting for them for season 4. It's just so good. I'm setting myself up for failure, I guess.
All right. If we could just talk about Stormfront real quick, because I forgot about her.
That bitch. No,
how'd you guys feel about her?
Way she went out? It was great.
Yeah. How she went out was chef's kiss. I loved it.
Yeah. Hold on a minute, because that was so many weeks back. Is she actually dead? Did they show her dead body? They did, right?
No, I don't think they showed her dead body, but
Yeah,
Because they just saw it on the news.
Yeah, I think Homelander just got the news of how she went out, and it's like
that scene was amazing though, where he was like, "Now I'm telling you to jump."
Oh yeah,
when he found out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was I really love that moment because it just shows how fucked up Homelander is. He's like, she wouldn't die on me. She wouldn't go die on me. Like, no, she knows that I need her. It's like, yeah, it's really great stuff.
Yeah, and it was really demeaning to have her like be this, I don't know, masturbation toy basically for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like her primary role and function. And I thought it was a good end for a Yahtzee. You know what I'm saying?
Terrible.
Yeah,
a terrible person who's been getting away with a lot of pain and misery towards a lot of people for like decades. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I wanted Cersei from Game of Thrones to go out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, she got off easy. Game of Thrones, big time.
All right, Homelander.
Okay, so can I go Homelander quickly?
Yeah,
all right. So I think he's kind of the embodiment of privilege, right? And I say that in a way that like he thinks he's more competent than he is because Vought has been taking care of his fuck ups his whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has an over inflated sense of self, but he's actually this very weak, almost pitiful. Not that I pity him, but he is a pitiful person. I don't want to call him a human because he's not really a human, right? Or meta-human. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying. So he's like he has all that power for nothing. Like he can't really fight. He's not really smart. No one really likes him. He's always clout chasing for people's attention, right? He needs to be loved because he doesn't love himself. And that has kind of been exposed. But all the other people that are like that, now that the world is becoming more diverse and more people have powerful voices, now they have to look inward and kind of blame everyone else for their problems. Like there's literally a scene in there where he's like, why is this happening to me? Right? Yeah. Like so I think and we see his followers who are now, again, you cannot say that this is anything else, especially with his fans, than this adaptation of 45's supporters, right? And one thing that kind of piqued my interest, Mother's Milk's daughter's new stepfather or whoever he was.
Yeah.
When he first saw Homelander say, I'm better and I'm not apologizing, the way he sat up in his seat, like I've seen that real life. It was like a goddamn Trump rally, right? It's like, the world wants to pass me by. They want to tell me what pronouns I can use. They want to tell me I have privilege, but secretly they all feel like they're better. Not they all, but I'm saying the people who believe in that ideology, they actually believe that they're better. So he's speaking to them and they live through him. And because all of the, quote unquote liberals hate him, or all the good guys hate Homelander, they love him even more, right? So it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I think they captured that perfectly, and it has been hilarious to me for people that didn't see the analogy they were trying to make. I also just want to shout out Anthony Starr. I first got a hold of him. I don't know if you guys watched that show that he did on Stars.
Yeah.
What is the name of it again? It's like where he was the criminal who got out of jail.
Banshee's amazing.
Yeah, he killed the cop, or the cop
except for the last season. Don't watch the last season.
I actually never watched the last season. Believe it or not,
don't like. Take the ending of the second to the last season and just feel like that's the end of the series, and you'll always have a
you could probably stop there.
And one last thing of why I say Anthony Starr like deserves all the praise. If you see, I always look like at the range of an actor. So it's like, are you playing the same character in every movie, or can you be a different person? If you look at that, who he played in Banshee versus Homelander, you can see the
huge difference,
the range that he has. So
that's
why like Lawrence Fishburne is one of my favorite all-time actors. But yeah, Homelander's arc was great, and I also loved that what's his name, Soldier Boy. When you thought they were going to team up in the end, he kind of called him on all his bullshit. Like, maybe if I was there to raise you, you wouldn't be such a fucking disappointment.
Oh, we'll get the Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that guy.
No, yeah, I agree a lot with Everborn saying. I think this was the biggest for once, right? This is the biggest like growth for Homelander as a character, and throughout the series. And I mentioned some of it before already, but like him, he's never been challenged, as far as like threatened his entire life. This is someone who has never had anyone that was capable of hurting him, capable of like putting him in danger. Like, he's never had to feel like I might die, like that mortality that we all live with, and even some of the other superpowered people live with, because you may have some superpower, but it may suck, or you may be like one of the other 7 or some of these other little superhero groups that's within the universe that you got a decent power, but you're not freaking Homelander. Like, he's never had, he wasn't raised correctly, and he's never actually had to be challenged. And then this season we saw him be challenged. We saw him scared, when he nearly got killed by Soldier Boy, Huey, and Butcher. And then like he's just like in his penthouse, just like, the hell is going on? Like, this is supposed to be happening to me, right? And all the way up until that, you kind of saw it happening, because all the way up until that, he did not take Soldier Boy seriously whatsoever. He was too busy caught up in what his numbers were. He was too caught up in dealing with like all the other stuff that wasn't even important. And every time somebody said Soldier Boy, he was just like, look, I'll get to that. Go ahead.
So 2 things. I also think I want to give Homelander credit. He was legitimately terrifying at times, right? When he wasn't pathetic. You know what I'm saying?
When he makes that stage speech where it's the close up on his face and he's just a fucking psycho, like, the cold dead eyes, the just like the little twitches with his mouth and eyebrows, like the whole 9.
Yeah, and the way he killed Starlight's ex boyfriend, I can't remember his name.
I forgot his name too.
The boy band guy,
something Sonic,
whatever his name is. But
by the way, that song, the cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Absolutely.
Especially considering how he was a grown man singing that. That was terrible. Go ahead.
No, but also, like, when this guy was talking under his breath, A-Train, and then he came back to him and was like, what did you say to me? This is after he got kicked out of the room. Yeah. So I don't know. I just like when he was angry and he was kind of bullying people that he knew he could beat. To me, it was just like, this guy's fucking scary. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give him credit for that, because to be able to be scary like that and then also, see the bitch in him, it just takes range in the same role.
Mm-hmm. I think we probably, unless Connor, you got something that you want to say about Homelander?
You guys pretty much hit all the base points.
Cool. I
What
guess
does
we could.
Luca think about Homelander?
Yeah, Homelander is my favorite character. I really liked his development this season. I thought it was a realistic progression in regards to how he handles things. He started off as someone, and he is still very much someone who wants to be loved. He wants that positive attention. You know, when Ashley told him that his numbers were up based on his rant, he was very happy about that because it's fundamental to his character, this desperation, this need for approval and acceptance. And that's why he is worked so hard to cultivate his public persona, despite privately being filled with disgust and intense dislike for everyone around him because they are beneath him in every sense of the word. You know.
By the way, Luca, that was hilarious. The scene you're talking about when she told him his numbers were up, and then she looks down. He's like, "That's not about you," because his numbers was up. He was, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, hilarious.
Yeah, it was really good. I really liked the ending of the season where he realized like, oh, I can really do anything I want and I'll still have people who support me. And he also has his son with him who will, in theory, be there to accept him and give him the love and everything. So I just thought it was a good character arc and progression for Homelander. It's probably my favorite for this season, but Homelander's always my favorite throughout the seasons. You know, I'm actually one of the people, I liked his speech where he was just like, I am better than you. I'm better than all of you. And I'm just like, yeah, I can actually relate to that. It doesn't have to just be a liberal versus conservative thing, because I do actually relate to him in that aspect. Just that
Never give Luca superpowers.
You know, that superiority complex in certain aspects, and just like that intense dislike for people around you who think they're on the same level as you, but they're really not. So I definitely get that, and that's why he's my favorite character. I also like that, like, he's just, at least the show version, because we know the comic version was also, he was racist and stuff. So
yeah,
but the show version is just like, I just look down on all of you because all of you are beneath me, you know. So shout out to Erodimus saying The Boys is the worst superhero TV show, but one of the best in dealing with the human condition. Yeah, it's really good when it comes to that. So yeah, I thought it was I thought it was a great season.
I think the worst superhero TV show was The Eternals. I think that was probably
that was
the
a
worst.
movie.
No, there was a TV show before that.
Yeah, there was a TV show.
No, I'm sorry. The Inhumans.
No.
The Inhumans.
Inhumans, yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was The Inhumans, which was freaking awful. Yeah, that was the worst.
Well, it was pretty bad.
So
bad.
yeah, I also liked essentially how he treated everyone. Like, you know, I you know, dunking on the deep is always my favorite sort of thing. So when he forced the deep to eat Timothy, I thought that was a great scene. So.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
And the only downside to his character, I would definitely say, is the fact that he killed Black Noir, and Black Noir was right the entire time. So
yeah.
That kind of sucks. As soon as I mean, Black Noir is on there, but like, I didn't feel that didn't sit right with my soul.
I think that was probably one of the weakest part of the season. It doesn't have a lot of weak parts, but I think that
it's not very flushed out. It's
I definitely agree with that. But shout out to John, John the Don, who's been a member for 19 months, saying, is Starlight a low tier hero or not? I say yeah. I mean, yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I say she's like who would she be the equivalent of in like the DC or Marvel universes?
Dazzler.
DC, yeah, Dazzler maybe for Marvel, maybe like Wonder Girl in DC.
Yeah, I just think that you know, when she powered up and she just tapped him, I was just like, girl, please be serious.
Her superpower is running up your damn light bill.
Yeah. So shout out to Envy Dub saying, I liked how Homelander wants to be loved and respected, but couldn't care less if he's feared. A very well written villain. I don't think that it's not that he cares less about it. It's one of those, well, listen, if the people can't love me, then I'll just make them fear me. And I honestly, I think he was bluffing a little bit with that, because you could see like the horror on his face when he killed that
That
protester.
person.
And
Yeah.
he realized, oh shit.
Until the stepfather, put the back, because all it takes is one person in the crowd to be like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And
Which is exactly what happened.
And I thought his acting in that scene, Anthony Starr's been so amazing. He's a great actor. It was especially great because he conveys so many emotions. Like first it's fear, and then it's confusion, then it's disbelief, and then a tearful sort of joy as he starts to smile and just like, oh, all right, like they like this, you know?
Oh, we're cool here? Oh, all right.
Like, yeah. So I just thought
I didn't know I could do that.
I thought he was absolutely excellent, and I thought it was a great end to his arc this season, which was, slowly coming to the realization that, like, you know what, I can do whatever I want. Fuck it. Like I don't give a fuck anymore, essentially.
Right.
So. And actually, even though I don't like that he killed Noir, I do think that it is another part of deconstructing his character in regards to taking away another element of him that he genuinely cares for and loves, because I do think that Ryan will probably end up being the final straw. And I also like that they decided to go with the dissociative identity disorder instead of having Noir be a clone of Homelander. And,
Oh, I still think they're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but like, yeah, I just think that having, which it showed up in one scene and it was never talked about again. So I would like to see more about that and see what's going on with that. And also,
so can you guys, because I haven't read these comics, can you tell me about Black Noir in the comics? Are we saying he was a Homelander clone?
He was put in place by Vought to basically kill Homelander if he ever went off the reservation.
But Homelander never went off the reservation. So as a Noir, he had this instruction that was placed in him, but he was never able to achieve it because Homelander never did anything publicly. So essentially, Black Noir was the one who assaulted Butcher's wife. Black Noir was the one committing not all the atrocities, but some of the like Black Noir was eating babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was
really
doing it.
Stuff.
He was doing it while dressed as Homelander, and Homelander, he thought he was crazy because he's like, I don't remember assaulting this woman, and I don't remember eating babies. So it's like he thought he was nuts, but no, it's just like he's a clone. The clone of Homelander, Black Noir was stronger than him, and he was able to kill him, just barely though. And I also like in the part with Homelander and Noir in the show, Homelander's like, oh, I can see through that mask, right? And I can see, when you're upset or happy and everything. And that was just one of those, well, why didn't he know that Noir was him? Like, did he just never look? Also, Noir's body shape was different in certain panels too. So it's like, Homelander's like this big beefy guy, and like he's huge in the comics, but like in the comics, Noir was like a more slender in certain panels. So it's just kind of like one of those, like, okay, I guess he's a clone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain elements of that don't make any sense, which I personally like. I am someone who prefers the TV show over the comic too.
Yeah, big time.
It kind of smacks of me of like that decision to make him a clone of Homelander was very like not last minute, but it wasn't something that was there from the very start.
So
like when you mentioned
possibly that's definitely
well, let me say, as somebody who has written several comics or whatever, I do that shit all the time. There's so many things that I introduce as I'm writing. Like I have an overall outline of where I'm going, but you add things to spice things up, and I don't think I'm the only comic book writer that does that. But do you guys, and I see people are talking about this in the chat, do you guys think Black Noir comes back next season?
He does, but
like, is he actually dead, or is he?
No, Irving's dead. Irving is dead. But someone comes in
New
as
is
Black
coming.
Noir. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the comic, the Soldier Boy mantle was passed on to different people. It's
Yeah.
not just the same person, but they switched that up in the show. So
So
Yeah.
maybe that will be the clone of Homelander when they bring him back.
No, it's going to be the same actor. They already said it's going to be the
Okay.
same actor that
Okay.
played him already. Just that he'll have the mask off and he can talk, and he'll be able to like. It'll be different. He'll be a different. He's a different person.
character. He's a
different
different
character.
character.
Yeah,
Okay.
the same actor.
I think they might still do the clone thing. And my thinking of this is because they've seen what Soldier Boy and Butcher were able to do. They're like, oh, like you can hurt him, maybe even possibly kill him. And then I think that will lead them down the route of possibly cloning him as like a backup. And, if like how it originally was in the comics, if he ever goes off the reservation, we activate this clone, kill him, and let the clone take his place.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility in the future. Although I think the show has already kind of like gone down the route where we're gonna. I think the eventual conclusion to the Homelander story arc is going to be that his son will kill him. Like that's the conclusion
I
that
can
we're going
see
to
that
eventually
too.
get to.
Yeah.
I don't
But-
trust that kid. I don't
Well,
like it. I don't like the cut of his jib.
That smile, that creepy smile at the end was a little much. But I do think that he's. I think he's eventually going to come around to the side of like. I mean, he was literally raised by his mother to be a certain way for his entire life, unlike Homelander, where he actually was raised by someone that loves him. And I think, he's kind of going through a lot of depression and loss and not quite really being able to process, losing his mother, being taken care of by this woman who don't really care about him whatsoever, and she's closed off as it is. And then
Butcher fucked
Butcher
that relationship up.
and then Butcher basically, like he's I think him even going to his father, knowing he hated and feared his father all this time, is more of a acting out due to everything that's going on. But eventually he's gonna kind of like come back to, even though he's a kid though, so like kids are still like growing and learning and becoming themselves. But I think that like what everything that he was taught and raised to be will eventually have him turn away from whatever his father is going to end up doing in season 4. And it's not like it's going to end in season 4 anyway. Like I think like it could be season 6 or whatever, but I think Ryan's going to be the reason. Like, he's the only one that can really hurt him. So I think he's going to be the reason that he eventually falls.
I actually don't like. I love this show, but I don't need it to go 6 seasons. I kind
of hope it does.
There's no show that has been able to keep that kind of pace. Maybe except Breaking Bad, and what was that? 5 seasons.
That was 5 seasons. But look, and to your point, the showrunners, AMC wanted them to go longer, and they was like, no, we have no other story to tell. We're not like they did eventually do Better Call Saul, but like
that's completely different.
It's completely different. Like we are done with this story. We're done with this character. We're done with this story arc. We're not going to keep it going further and let it get ridiculous and stupid and things don't make sense anymore. That's what a lot of other shows do. Meanwhile, the showrunners and the actors are making $1 million per episode. They don't care, but the audience does. And we're just like, well, this sucks now. And they didn't want to do that with Breaking Bad. I'm hoping that with The Boys, they just end it where they know the story should be ended and don't try to just keep it going just to make more money.
I'm not too concerned about that because Eric Kripke, he created Supernatural, and he wanted Supernatural to end after season 5, which it should have, in my opinion, it should have ended after season 5. And
yes, it should have.
He left after season 5, and the show ended up being like 15 seasons. So, I think Eric Kripke, maybe 2 more seasons, and then we're Gucci.
Yeah, I think 5 is going to be the sweet spot for this show.
That should be the legal limit any show can go on for. 5 seasons and you're done.
Yeah. And they can also, they can do other stories in the universe. I wouldn't mind like a Soldier Boy TV show, like later down.
Cool.
down the line. I know
Mhm.
Jensen is busy right now, but that would be cool. And they left the door open with that. So, all right, great.
Right. They did. They
Um,
did. Yeah. Yeah.
all right, so we're done with that. Let's talk about Butcher. So yeah, I thought
Oh
Butcher
man.
had excellent character development this season. In some ways, and not the best in others, but you know, it's Butcher, so it is what it is. I enjoyed seeing his essentially we started the season with him not drinking. He's been sober because he's taking care of Ryan, and also not murdering Soups like he wants to. So he's been on his best behavior, trying to assume the role of father for this kid.
Mhm.
Which I, you know, and then we see as the season progresses that it's like no, he does still have that anger and that deep anger inside of him, and that hatred for Soups that he's, and it's just like this hate that he also has for himself because in so many ways he mirrors his own father. And I liked the theme of fatherhood all throughout the season. We saw it with him, we saw
Yeah.
it with Homelander, and we saw it with MM. So I appreciate that. I appreciated that. That
We
is. Oh, and
also
then we also saw
saw.
it with Soldier Boy as well.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to interrupt you and say. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh yeah. So I just thought I really liked the episode in which we get a little flashback on Butcher and like his brother and like the abuse he faced by his father, and then the acceptance he got from his father by it's like, oh, you bash somebody's head in, let me give you a drink, that kind of thing. And like I said, it's all about repeating patterns of abuse and becoming the abuser in a lot of senses, which is why Butcher is just like he's such a piece of shit now, is because
Mhm.
he's taken on traits of his father, regardless of how much he wish he had it and how much he wish he had been a better brother, which I mean, I think he puts too much blame on himself considering he was a child as well. And it's
Mhm.
like when you grow up in that kind of environment, eventually it's, you know, you want that own self-preservation where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. So it's unfortunate that by what happened with his brother happened, but it was also kind of like he had to have known that the father wouldn't stop being abusive. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think the most single fascinating thing that I pulled from this season, specifically with Butcher, is that I think for this is the season that I really realized, like, no, he's crazy. Like, he is so determined to essentially just like, and I love the scene where he walks in and he blasts Homelander with his laser eyes for the first time. And he asks him, like, what did you do? And he's like, I scorched earth. Like, I was willing to go to hell to fucking kill you. And I just really, I think that Carl Urban does a really great job of like really bringing that to life. And I think you even see like just how crazy he is. And even in that fight scene where he's like smiling like with like this shit eating grin, trying to beat up Homelander, you know, even though like he's starting to see a little bit of the ramifications of just how his determination has basically ruined his life.
Yeah.
I think
So
he was ready for that though. I think this entire season I just kind of
I
looked
don't.
at him as like
I would agree with you, but then Ryan got brought in, and I don't think he was ready for that. I think he has. I think he does have some sort of attachment to Ryan, even though he doesn't necessarily know what that is yet.
I agree with that, but I think just like the loss of it, like he's his mission has been to get his wife back. That's
Right.
been
Right.
his mission for so long, and for it to end not in a happy ending way, like he found her but then loses her, it's like he just can't really get over that. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of like him, even at the very end, where they're just like, "Look, you got like what I don't know, like 6 months, a year left of time." He's just like, "All right, whatever." Like he
do we
just like
think
he
he's
doesn't.
actually gonna die though? Like, or are they just
I've
gonna
seen
find
some
some cure?
theories of what
Hmm.
people think is going to happen. They think that like after taking like the biggest dose of compound V that he's had, that it basically like does a reverse like permanent thing where it's like, no, he'll be able to get to keep his powers, but he's going to make sure that like the boys and Huey think that he's dead so he can go raise Ryan the quote unquote like right way.
Yeah.
I
So
think he's gonna die.
do you
Yeah,
think
I
they
would
kill
probably.
him before the end of the, like if so here's the thing. If I think if you kill Butcher, you do that in the final season, whatever that is. So if they're gonna end it at 5 or 6, that's when Butcher goes out. But I feel like I mean, because like how many times has A-Train died? Right? Like I feel like they're gonna find some way to like, oh, here's the blue compound V. and now you just have your powers permanently or something like that.
No, he's going to die because he doesn't want the powers. He doesn't want to be a soup. He hates soups. That hatred he feels it's fundamental to his character. So even though he's starting to develop something for Ryan, I don't think that hatred for soups in general is ever going to really go away. And in the comics, he killed his team. So
I was just about to ask you, do you think that they're going to do what the comics did
I
where
hope
he
not.
does that?
I hope
I
not.
think
No, I
I don't really know. I don't really know yet. I haven't really seen, they've always done their own thing, but like I could see them doing that for like the shock value of how to end the show. But
No,
I don't
I
know.
don't think they're doing that.
So here, this is a. I had a thought about Butcher, and I thought it was less interesting that he didn't. And I know it showed that like he does have some humanity left. I thought it was less interesting that he tried to stop Huey from taking that last dose of the temp V, right? Because I'm like, of course, that's how these things works. Everybody hates him on the surface, but he's lovable at heart, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen that so many times. So what I thought would have been more interesting would have been that, Huey, I love you, but I also need to accomplish this mission. And that comes before anything, so I'm not going to tell you. And I just thought that would have been more interesting than him doing the predictable, misunderstood hero thing.
Yeah, I didn't read it like that myself. I thought it actually made perfect sense that he wouldn't let Huey take the shot, considering he just woke up from the reliving his past in which he watched his brother shoot himself. So since he sees his brother and Huey, it made sense to me that because during that scene he was like, "Don't leave, don't do it, don't like just stay with him, stay with him." You know what I'm saying? So I think it would have actually been confusing if he had just let Huey essentially kill himself after he relived that trauma with his brother.
Yeah. He was definitely trying to protect him. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, they sold it. They definitely earned it, like with exactly what you're talking about. And you can see that, and Carl Urban as an actor sold that in his face. I definitely saw that. I guess my issue is that I expected it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I've seen it before, but it absolutely what they did absolutely works narratively, like 1000%.
Shout out to Sir X-Men saying they're getting ready to make Star Trek sequel, no Butcher for a while because of scheduling conflict. So he might not be there in the beginning of season 4. Oh, okay.
By the way, fun fact about that new Star Wars they're doing, the J.J. Abrams lens flare Star Trek. They actually, so that they had all the actors, when you sign one of these contracts, it's like, it's like a 3-picture deal or whatever it is. And so you can go act and do whatever you want. But once you sign that contract and you get paid, they can call you back or not call you, whenever they're going to make it. So when they announced that new Star Trek sequel, none of the actors knew about it. They all found out when Paramount made the announcement on Twitter or wherever they made it, or at CinemaCon. It's hilarious.
I was just about to say, like, how did they get them all back? That's crazy.
They're contractually obligated to come back.
Because I thought, oh yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
So I heard John Campia talking about that a couple of months back when they first announced it.
Luca, can we get to the worst character this season now? Huey.
Oh, Huey. Can I talk about Huey?
Oh yeah, Huey.
I did not like Huey this season. Talk about I don't know. It's like I feel like the whole savior complex thing is just so eye rolly and so tropey that I'm just like, all right, we get it. All right, the guy with no superpowers wants to save his superpower girlfriend. Okay, thank you.
It was small D energy.
Well, I agree in some respects because I don't like Huey in general, to be honest. Honestly, I don't like Butcher or Huey at all, to be honest. I've never liked their characters, but like I think, I mean, if we remember, his girlfriend was murdered right in front of him by a suit.
Yeah.
So it would make, even though I find him annoying, but overall because of his insecurity and jealousy and all of his I want to be the hero. I want to save people. I think a lot of it is just stemming from the fact that his girlfriend was murdered right in front of him, and he
Yeah.
still has a lot of anger about that. It's like when A Train apologized, Huey didn't even know what to do with that. He was still angry. He expected A Train to still be a dick, and even though because A Train now understands what it's like to hurt someone close to you, Huey still started punching him. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's like he still has all this anger inside of him. So even though I do agree with you for the most part, I would like to just point out again that like
Totally.
his girlfriend was murdered.
No,
by a
totally. Yeah. Like in his eyes, it's like a chance to, at redemption. And I get that. But at the same time, I was just like, oh my God, come on, Huey.
But so for me, like I thought it was very interesting what they did, because he's constantly surrounding himself by people that are so much more powerful than him, and everyone and everywhere he goes makes him feel weak and like less. He has less machismo. He's less of a man, right? And it got to him, and I don't ever think that saving Starlight was ever about Starlight, right? It was all about him.
It was never about that,
right? It was all about him trying to prove to himself that he wasn't no punk, even though he was, right?
If he was really about that, if he really wanted to be that kind of person, he would have, instead of just punching A Train, he would have teleported him like 100 feet in the air, then teleported himself back to the ground and let him fall to his death. He could have definitely killed A Train.
Would have somehow still lived because they have a problem with killing that character. I don't understand.
Plot armor, right? But
I mean, listen, there's like what, 2 black characters?
Right.
Yeah. One now.
But no, like I feel like I agree about Huey just being annoying this season, and it's just like some of this back and forth between him and Starlight, just like I've seen this already in previous seasons, just whatever. He and it is so like, I think some of it was like seemed very forced and out of character of him to be like, she's just like, there was one point I think early in the season when she was like legitimately scared that at any moment Homelander was going to kill her, and he was just like, yo, suck it up.
Right.
Yeah, that was like in the first couple episodes. Yeah,
I definitely think he was emulating Butcher in that moment, you know what I'm saying? Which I just, like I said before, if Starlight was my girlfriend, I'd be like, yeah, let's get you out of there. Let's get you the fuck out of there. Because like at the end of the day, what he asked of her was too much. Asking her to stay where her rapist was ridiculous.
Just be like, chill out with him for until we say so. Like,
that did feel like a character departure from the other 2 seasons in terms of how their relationship was, because I feel like I bought it in those first 2 seasons, and the idea that he would just be like, you're on your own, bitch. Like that didn't work for me. But I still do think what they did with him was interesting and in some ways understandable. Like you guys brought up the fact that he never let go of his first girlfriend getting killed, and how he always watched his father, and he felt like his father was weak, and he I do think it's something like weird, like this weird codependent relationship he has going on with Butcher that he needs to probably seek therapy about. But
it is that, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Absolutely, 100%. But no, I do get being, because even Butcher is like a giant to him, right? Even though he doesn't, well, before this season he didn't have powers. So the idea that he would want to feel powerful for once, I think, is a relatable feeling. It's just that they were very heavy-handed with it to the point of eye rolls. But I understand what they were going for, and I do think it was super interesting.
Yeah, like I said before, he was getting on my nerves. The fact that he and Annie are back together again, like, can I be free? Can I be fucking free, please? Like, I hate their relationship.
All no,
it would be more interesting if they broke up.
And season 4, I don't want to see this back and forth arguing between them. Are we going to stay together or are we not? Like, I
think you already saw it. I think you'll see a little bit of it. But I think they're kind of showing you like, hey, they're going to be together. Like, we're making this a thing.
Very fucking sick behavior. But okay, so let's talk about her. I love Starlight. I really do. I really do love Starlight. Okay, now hear me out.
Calling Jubilee in the chat. That's so funny.
I just want to point out to everybody, I always say this, don't pay attention to anything somebody says before the word but go ahead.
No, I do genuinely love Starlight. Like, I love Annie, right? I think she's a great character. I enjoy the fact that she is a morally good character. I do.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. I like that a lot. She's the only really morally good character on the show, in my opinion. You know, and I think she was very brave. She was very brave to expose Homelander for what he was doing and expose Vought for lying about Soldier Boy. I think that was very brave of her. Like,
the bravest thing that happened this season.
Bravest thing that happened this season, right?
Yeah.
That being said, like I said, her relationship with Huey is probably one of the aspects that I just dislike the most about her as a person. It's like, damn, girl, you could do so much fucking better.
Very frustrating.
You could do so much fucking better. And like I said, it all stems from Huey. These issues that Huey have, those are his issues. He's got an inferiority complex. He's got insecurities. And she's over there trying to make him feel better. And I'm just like, girl, if you don't just move the fuck on, like, it just baffles me, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really have too many complaints about her character arc this season. I thought it was a realistic progression on where she was going. I thought the backtracking and then going forward, that made a lot of sense to me. But once again, it turns into the only reason she even went forward in exposing Vought was because Huey and her were having issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like, damn, girl, you would have just continued just letting this bullshit happen if you and Huey were good. Because you're afraid that Homelander is going to kill him. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck, man? So, yeah, but that being said, Starlight's powers are fucking ass. She is a low tier hero, in my opinion.
She can levitate sucks. Now.
All right, she fucking sucks. When Queen Maeve was all like, you can fly. I'm just like, bitch, if you don't cut it the fuck out. If you don't cut it the fuck out. Like, I swear to God. So, you know, anyway, that's just how I feel about her. You guys go ahead.
No, I feel exactly the same. She is probably the most boring part of the season, in my opinion. She doesn't have much to do aside from be fighting with Huey. That's kind of her designated role for later in the half of the season, and I really didn't care for it. You know, like you said, Luca, she's the only character on the show that actually like has sort of the moral integrity of like what a superhero is supposed to be, and I always really liked that. And I always wanted her to have, like, you know, her moment. And I don't feel like she's had her moment in 3 seasons of The Boys. So I guess I'm still kind of waiting for that.
I would say that her power is a little bit higher than low tier. Didn't she get them out of like a safe or something earlier when they were able to give her enough light to be able to like power her way through it? She's not quite Jubilee. I did say to the chat like she's Dazzler, in the sense that like Dazzler is like a light show, but she could turn light into like hard light and actually really hurt people with it. That's like Starlight. I did kind of get annoyed every time like someone gives her a little bit of static. She does the whole I'm lighting my eyes up like this threat that like no one believes because you're Starlight.
Does she even have eye beams like Homelander?
No.
What? Okay,
no.
So
she just like starts making the lights flicker and she does this whole little her eyes glow and she tries to scare everybody. But it's not that her power isn't good. It's just that we know you're not gonna do nothing, honey. Like you're not that person. So it's like you doing all this threatening doesn't mean anything because you're not really going to go there.
Yeah, she's like a B tier, like B plus hero in comparison to like Homelander and Maeve, who are like, A tier.
Right. And so I do agree that she just like she kind of had like a backseat this season, which is fine because like other characters need to get the spotlight sometimes anyway. But yeah, I would have preferred if they just her and Huey did not get back together. Like it would have been kind of like a her maturing past Huey, kind of just like I can't really let what you did like earlier this season slide, and her just getting back with him just seemed like did none of that matter. Like that he basically was just like, go ahead and just keep staring your rapist in the face. Like none of that stuff mattered. He realized he was being an idiot taking the temp V, so we're good now. Like that's just like that didn't seem like any kind of growth from her character.
I assume that's
specifically.
intentional to sort of show you like how far Huey's now willing to go, and it costs her like story arc and kind of the process.
Right, but I just feel like there should have been I maybe a more realistic look, with like real character, like real people would have been like, nah, that was a step too far permanently. We're permanently done. We're cool because we have mutual goals that need to be achieved, but we can't go back to what we used to be, and that would have been a better resolution to her story arc this season to me.
And can somebody get her a new costume? I hate her fucking costume.
Well, she threw it away, so
like now she's just gonna be in street clothes. But
yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah, wait. So So are you guys familiar with the Bechdel test?
No.
Okay. So this is when you're reviewing your script, the Bechdel test basically says, do you have 2 or more women in your script who have a conversation that doesn't involve a man?
I've heard of this
right?
before.
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason I bring up Starlight is like I don't know that her character exists, at least in this season, other than for character development for Huey, and I think that's unfortunate. Right. And I'm not saying the show is like whatever, because there's a lot of strong, interesting female characters there. I just don't know that Starlight is one of them in this season, and I think that's unfortunate. But that was it. I just feel like she was like, if we use WWF terms, WWE these days, she's jobbing for Huey.
Yeah, that makes a lot. That's a very good analogy for it.
So
yeah,
could have been better.
I guess we can move on to MM.
Mother's Milk.
Yeah,
this was his season. As far as like his character
development and who he is and all that.
He's been a background character until this season. Although at times I was very much like, yo, MM, shut up. Like when it comes to any kind of chance he had of killing Soldier Boy, it was just like, bro, do you understand how literally out of your league you are? It just
that part was kind of stupid to me, like,
man. But it's like because he's the only other one who's on the show that has like a moral compass, and he's human,
I feel like his moral he's the better moral compass than Starlight. But again,
agreed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I thought it was super interesting. I thought they leveled up his character in this season. I do feel like they were straining credulity when he's just saying, "Okay, I have like a 9mm, and I'm gonna go against."
Right.
Like, what do we do? He wouldn't do that, right? You have a plan, unless his plan is to commit suicide, and I don't think that's what it was, because he always seems like he wants to get back at his daughter. He actually wants to kill him, and Butcher actually wants to kill Homelander. He's not going to sacrifice his life until that is done, right? And he would sacrifice his life if it meant he could kill Homelander,
right?
Mother's Milk should be the same way, but he was just willing to throw it all away and not accomplish his mission. That didn't make sense.
Yeah, I would have almost preferred. My only issue with MM's story arc this season was the whole let me pull out my nine and cock it back multiple times every time Soldier Boy is mentioned, bro. Like that's not even hurting him. Stop doing that. You look silly. Like I think it would have made more sense if he would have been down to take that temp V with Butcher. Just with the
but they needed
in the
some
background.
character to tell some human character to keep him to the ground. So I get why they wouldn't do that.
That makes sense. That does make sense. Plus,
because it goes back.
You can stay in the same room with Soldier Boy without trying to kill him,
grinding his teeth, like
right. And Soldier Boy definitely wouldn't have taken this dude mean mugging him, 24/7. He would have said something to him, and then like MM would have got decapitated. So that makes sense. But then it's just like I don't know. Maybe we could have had a scene where he would have like seen some Tim V and like considered it. Then it could have been like I could have felt like a little bit better about his mentality, because it just seemed like he didn't have a plan on how to stop Soldier Boy other than stop Soldier Boy.
The gas.
Yeah,
but that was introduced by Frenchie, so that wasn't even like his idea. Like he literally had no idea how to stop him, except he just.
It was a pretty big. I think it's a pretty bad plan too overall. Like, we're gonna get this gas onto this guy somehow.
Yeah, and then you can't kill him after that, so you're just kind of just looking at it.
Isn't that? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I think that's nuts.
I do, but I do want to give them credit though. The idea that this character has developed OCD and all kinds of other mental disorders, has ruined his family for this thing. He cannot get this thing out of his head, and this guy killed his whole family. He watched his father drink himself to death or whatever it was, going after Soldier Boy, and now Soldier Boy is right in his face, and you can't do anything. You can do nothing. Because he is so powerful that he could spit on you and kill you, right? Or whatever his powers are, right?
Yeah,
so that, to me, to have all that rage and have everything in front of you to basically put him in Butcher's shoes in a way, right? I do think that part of it is interesting, and watching how someone who won't betray their moral compass handles that versus somebody who says at all costs, this guy has to die.
I agree with you, Ever. I think MM was definitely annoying me this season every time. Cocking my gun, bitch! The gun's not gonna do anything. Like, what are you doing? Like, what do you do? I don't.
He's like, I gotta go get Homelander.
I gotta kill.
No, but do you remember when he put his fists up to?
He put his
Soldier
fist up
Boy?
to fight Soldier Boy. I'm like, damn. I mean, we're having like dumb man syndrome right now. Like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you thinking? Like, you have no shot.
I think they're trying to display in that scene like he's honorable or like something along those lines. But I agree. Like,
honorable? Soldier Boy could kill him with his pistol.
I know. I agree. Because it's like in the face of Soldier Boy, it's like, well, that's not gonna fucking matter. So it's not like he's not gonna punch you.
And here's the thing, right? I've seen scenes like that done well, but not in this context, right? If you are faced with someone who is coming after you and you have no form of regress, and you just say, I know you're going to kill me, but fuck that, I'm putting my hands up. That makes sense, because I'm backed in a corner, I'm dead anyway, I'm going to go out on my feet. This, for someone who has a goal and a plan and a family he wants to get back to, putting up your fists or pulling out a Glock is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, and also real quick, so also, I really liked when he was like, "You killed my family," and Soldier Boy was like, "Which one?
Yeah.
Like, which one?" And I like that, because it's like, you like MM's family is just nothing to him. Like MM, every time Soldier Boy looked at MM, he was just like, "Bro, if you don't stop acting like you can
he
do
never
something.
considered him a threat. That's why he never like it was never a deal to kill him, even though this guy's like he's staring daggers at. He just like you're literally nothing. It's like there's a bug that's flying around me.
Just
Basically.
absolutely nothing. But shout out to Sir X-Men
Yeah.
saying Frenchie's girlfriend could kill Homelander. Kimiko
Mm-mm.
cannot do that.
No,
Absolutely
she
not.
can't. She
Nope.
can't beat Soldier Boy. So no,
No.
I was gonna say that like to kind of like Everborn's example in a lot of other mediums, well, the same medium, but a lot of other stories or TV shows, movies, we see a character kind of stand up to someone they have zero shot of beating. It's usually like a child, like a child that tries to stand up to like this villain, and it's like the child doesn't know how outmatched they are, like completely, to the point where the villain just like this is nothing. This is it's either adorable or it's cute, right?
Yeah.
But like MM's a grown man. He's a grown man who has fought Supes before, has dealt with Supes before. He has made plans with Butcher to deal with Supes for years. And this is the one Supe that you actually want to get rid of. And now all planning, all like strategy just goes
All
out.
out the window.
Right. If you let him kill you, then no one will kill him.
Right. It's just like
It makes no
be
sense.
more than just I'm gonna pull my gun out and I'm gonna stare at you real hard. Like no, he don't care.
Well,
You're nothing to him. You gotta
joke's
be
on
more
MMM.
than that. And Frenchie's the only one thinking in this in that entire scenario about how to stop Soldier Boy. This guy had all season to try to figure it out. And he just instead he's just mad that Butcher would dare team up with him on a temporary basis. It's just like, come on, bro. But I did like the fact that they focused on him for once, and they focused on like his motivations, and we learned more about him. And I thought that like his ex-wife is an idiot for being with that moron, and I was glad to see
Gary.
him knock that guy out at the end of the season. That was a long time coming, for what he did. But I feel like there was some missteps with MM's decision making throughout the season.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, I think it's a good way to show that because his trauma and the OCD stem from what Soldier Boy did, him hearing Soldier Boy's name had that little obsessive tick with him where it's like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to. I get it. I get it. But it's just like, dude, are you dumb? Like, what's going on? Like, I know you're not this stupid. Like, what? And I also agree. He does not want to die. He does not want to kill himself. So him doing all that extra shit didn't make any goddamn sense, because we know he wants to live for his daughter, and he does want to get back with his wife, his ex-wife.
Totally.
All right.
I need to know how his ex-wife got with that dude, though.
I don't want to know.
It makes no sense
that
whatsoever.
Homeland sympathizing son of a bitch.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking know, dude. But he's one of those guys who just tell people, I can't be racist. My wife is black. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My girlfriend's
He's got
black.
that kind of energy going. Yeah.
No, 100%. All right, Frenchie, listen. I thought it was good development for Frenchie. I did roll my eyes when he was all like, no, I will not shut my cake hole. And and then
he asked for dental insurance
he looked at Kimiko for like approval, and she's like, yeah, babe, you got it.
You got it,
what I'm saying? I like hearing about his background, but honestly speaking, I don't care too much about Frenchie. I had more interest in him last season when we find out he's the reason that was Lamplighter, I don't fucking know. That dude killed Mallory's kids, So
yeah, I think it adds I think it kind of makes it like, oh, his backstory is kind of sad and tragic, so it makes like the motivations for like him to be with Kimiko a little stronger, and you as a viewer, you kind of want to see that. But yeah, I agree.
Like together though, because it feels like they were saying like
I think they are.
The kiss didn't work, so we're just like super close friends.
I think she basically, what she was describing to him is that when she kissed him, she kind of felt like she's like her affection for him wasn't really that, but she still considered him like family. So she didn't really quite understand what her feelings were, like a brother. Yeah, she understands how she feels, like but not like that, But then it was kind of weird because it seemed like after the kiss, she really was like interested in knowing how he felt about it. Like he got up and he's like I'm gonna go get a soda or something. I can't remember what he said, and then he got kidnapped. But like she seemed very like afraid of how he felt about how this may change things for them. But then it's like later on,
Yeah,
she's
I
just
think
like, we're just cool.
no, I think
you're my bro.
I don't think she thinks of him as a bro.
Yeah, I don't think that
I
at
don't
all.
think that at all. I
Like he
think
got her in the friend zone.
I think it was because he's been so understanding and he's been there every step of the way since she was released or they found her or whatever. And
Mhm.
he's just like taken the act. He's the only one really who's taken like an active effort to get to know her and stuff. I think
Mhm.
she does have feelings for him.
Yeah, totally. I think she's definitely into Frenchie, and I think
Then what was she saying at the end?
I have
When they
no
were
idea. I don't even remember that, honestly.
like, yeah, like they were
She was saying
discussing
we're
the
so
kiss.
much more than that.
Yeah, because maybe I don't know. Maybe she definitely feels like a connection to like maybe she thinks that he didn't care for the kiss or whatever, and that's why he got up and went away. And maybe she was just trying to explain to him like, no, like our love is like, it's more than just like sexual feelings, blah blah blah, that type of shit.
Yeah.
But
So
Because God, weren't they dating in the comics or something?
I can't remember.
I can't remember
I think they were like messing around in the comics.
All I know is that Frenchie confessed his love right before they died. So
Yeah.
One thing, I feel like Frenchie's character, and I like what they did this season, but I do feel like his character kind of works better when his past is mysterious. And now that they kind of explained it, more of it, it just makes the character himself slightly less interesting.
I would agree with that, but I also would say that his backstory, like, it kind of makes sense now into like what his motivations are. Of like, yeah, he is kind of like a masochist. He kind of likes being told what to do and kind of being put down. Like he's kind of into that because like all of his past actions, from what everyone says, it's like, yeah, it's exactly that. Like,
yeah,
oh, I don't want,
go
yeah,
ahead.
no, like, yeah, I don't want to kill this woman. I don't want to do this, but he always ends up doing it because he has to do what he's told.
Yeah,
Like a lapdog.
childhood
Yeah.
trauma can manifest in different ways sexually as you're an adult, because
Yeah.
the chick was talking about how he likes to get pegged and stuff. I'm like, hello. You're like, what? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't mind learning more about his backstory. I thought it was really sad actually, and I think that's what like I like that he didn't choose between Kimiko and the other chick whose name is escaping me.
The French girl, yeah.
Yeah, because he
Mhm.
does, and honestly speaking, he would not have chosen because he doesn't. It's like that's not his character. He's not able to do something like that. So,
Yeah, I agree.
and then also to just a little reminder, Kimiko does have like training, so her being able to beat that dude's ass makes perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, totally.
all right,
Because that was my question too. Because I couldn't remember if like Kimiko knew how to fight or if it was inherent with
no,
the Compound V.
she was part of that like fucking those freedom fighters or like that military force from
Yeah,
wherever
with her
she's from.
brother.
With
Yeah.
her brother.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that she knows how to fight. I didn't really care for all the singing shit. I understood.
Nah, I didn't care.
I
for that either.
understood what was going on, but I did not care for it. I fast forward through those parts. So
Yeah, I did too. I was like, nope, skip.
You don't like a good musical?
I hate
Nah, it was
musicals.
I
not
listen.
it.
I love
It was
musicals.
not it.
Musicals are my favorite. I just wasn't interested in this show. So
Yeah.
I like that every season now we're getting like a couple dope ass scenes of like Kimiko just fucking people up. She's so good at it too. Like her fight scenes are always so good, especially the one where she gets freed from the Russian lady while Frenchie's over there. She just keeps stabbing that guy. Like, oh my god.
Well, I definitely wanted her to kill the Russian prostitute that shot her in the head. Like she just
Why?
saved you. Because she just saved you and then you shoot her in the head. What the hell?
Those
And
girls
then
were
you
scared.
I get it, but like,
I mean, do you get it? Because like I said, those girls had been sold into prostitution and were being unfortunately having to sleep with that dude, that nasty fucking dude, right?
Yeah.
who deserves
Disgusting.
to die.
Absolutely disgusting, right? And of course they're going to be scared. They don't know that Kimiko is just there to kill him. They think that oh, are you here to kill us too? And it doesn't have like Kimiko can't speak, so it's not like she could reassure them. So yeah,
Right.
like I don't.
Okay.
I'm glad she didn't kill them.
In that perspective, yes, I get it. I'm just saying, she shot her in the head.
That bitch was fine. She's all right.
I did like her.
I think, by the
Yeah.
way, real quick though, I actually forgot that she could heal from something like that. So, and I guess they explained that in previous seasons. So for a minute, I thought she was dead, and I was like, no, but then the bullet came out, and so
Yeah,
that's why I wanted the retribution.
I liked her growth of this season because throughout the entire series, she's basically like has hated her powers, has wanted to get rid of them, kind of like Maeve. And in this season, she does lose them. And then she kind of realizes, oh, no, well, never mind. I need them because I need them to protect the people that I love and care for. And so then, like, now when we saw her at the end, when she puts on the music and she starts, was it like what movie is that? I can't remember what movie that song is from. But some 80s movie. But like, and she's like, there's a whole different like aspect of her fighting now and using her abilities. Like she's actually not necessarily enjoying herself, but she's embraced it. And I like that growth in her character because when you see a character talk about the same things or be within the same mood all the time, you're just like, all right, okay, can we get past this? But now she's finally past it, so I like to see that.
So to that point, Slow Mo, do you feel like Butcher is kind of the same all the time?
Yes.
Do you feel like he's actually had character growth throughout these 3 seasons?
He had
I think it's in subtle ways.
It's very subtle for him.
It's not big, huge arcs like some other people.
Yeah, she had a major growth this season. He's had no such major growth at all throughout the entire series.
It's incremental.
It's very,
and I'm not saying that as a bad thing because I feel like I just need Butcher to be Butcher. He's great, right? He owns every scene that he's in, and even when it's him in Homelander, I feel like he takes it as the more interesting person in those scenes that they share together. But character-wise, I haven't seen, and maybe that comes later. I don't know because I didn't read the comments.
Or maybe it never comes at all.
His development, his little minor development, came when he punched Huey in the face and didn't let him go. But you were complaining about that ever. So,
but hold on a minute now. Mm-hmm. Hold on a minute. He's always like cared about Huey. So he would have punched Huey in the face in season 1 to save him.
I don't think so.
I think that, not every character needs to have that major growth. Maybe, that could be the lesson in a story where there's a character that just never gets past it. They never get past their demons. They never grow. And then that ends up consuming them. That could be the lesson in that story arc in itself. And if that becomes Butcher in this series, I'm down for that because like that's something that you don't really get to see too often in television. They don't really like to get that complex with characters, especially dark characters like Butcher. So I would love to see that if that turns out to be the case.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him staying the same either.
Yeah, keep Butcher the same and don't kill him until the show's over.
So, okay, so the Deep. I actually appreciate their continued enthusiasm of making the Deep into a freak show and a joke of a character. I appreciate that.
They've done a pretty good job this season of doing that.
Yeah, the only thing that really made me feel any sort of empathy for the Deep was when he was forced to eat Timothy. Mostly because I was like, damn, can like he cook him or something? Like that is fucking disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fucking sick. Everything else, him fucking squids and octopuses and all that shit, very nasty. And like you said, I really appreciate their continued enthusiasm when it comes to just him being a joke. I hope his ex-wife, even though she's a nasty little bitch herself, I hope that his ex-wife exposes the fact that he fucks fish. So
oh, that was great at the end where she's like, you guys don't really know who he is. And I was like, oh
man. You know what I thought was great? Well, I got shout out to the actor. Because the actor really nails like his scenes, like he's pathetic, and it's the actor is doing such a good job in playing that role. I really appreciate it. Yeah, him with the Fisher stuff. It really kind of makes me wonder what they're going to do next season with him, in order to really like have him be even more pathetic than he is now.
Just very, very fucking disgusting. But you know
Extremely.
what did fucking send me? I was in tears laughing. Was when his wife called the octopus or whatever the fuck that was, like, oh, and then he was like,
it.
her pronouns are she. Bro, I was I was like, brother. Oh,
was pretty
fucking
good.
brother. Like, goddamn, dude. That shit was hysterical. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about the Deep. Like, I really don't care about his character all that much. I just appreciate that they treat him like shit, the shit that he deserves. You know what I'm saying?
As he
So,
deserves,
Right.
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
Down to H.
to the deep end. No, I agree, and I think some people might mistake season 2 as them trying to make you feel sympathy for him, but I think season 3 really drives home that he is a a fucking disaster.
yeah,
Just
irredeemable
a
piece
piece
of shit.
shit.
And like
Yeah.
I didn't take season 2 as them trying to redeem him. I took it more like them showing the reality of what happens when someone is accused of assault and they're a popular person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he
Right.
was able to get like everything back pretty much, despite people knowing. And he still has a female fan base that sympathizes with him. So
Yeah.
I do wonder about him next season, because I kind of feel like he's very much like, clearly Homelander cares nothing for him. You know, he's just he's a tool to be used. And we saw that in the finale where he ordered him to assassinate the guy that was running for
The
like
senator.
president, the senator, right? So he does that. I do wonder if that might come back on him later on, like if Victoria exposes what happened, and then like say Homeland just throws, like, I didn't do it, the Deep did it.
Yeah.
Like, just throws the Deep under the bus
No,
to
but
kind of like
the
avoid
Deep would
that.
sing like goddamn Mariah Carey. Like, he would tell everything. So
better to be
Yeah.
in prison than dead, is probably what his mentality is.
you
So
think Homelander couldn't get to him? By the way, here's a question that I had. So I don't know her name, but Stan Edgar's adopted daughter, is that
That's
Ashley?
Victoria.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Victoria.
Victoria. Okay, Victoria Newman. Can she not pop Homelander's head?
I don't
No.
think she can.
No.
She can't pop his head because she tried to pop Annie's and it didn't work.
Yeah. I think it has something to
Did
do
she
with
try to
the
pop it? I thought she
compound
was
V.
just. I thought she was just showing her that like, I could get to you. That's why her nose was bleeding. But if she wanted to pop her head, like,
No,
she
I
could.
took it more as her staring her down and trying to see if she could. And Annie would be a more realistic target because it's like if she tried to do that with Homelander, he would probably
Exactly.
notice, because Annie noticed too. So
Yeah.
that's how, now if they do something differently next season, I'm all for it. But so far we've only seen her kill mostly
Human.
other humans.
Non-power
And then like her friend back when she was still Nadia, we don't know what his actual powers were. So
Okay. Because, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It can't be Compound V because she did kill her friend at the beginning of the season and he had powers, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but there's varying degrees of like
It's like mutants in X-Men. Like,
right, right, like
Omega level
different-
mutants.
Yeah, like there's different levels to how strong a soup is. So some of them, like when Huey, when he's on Temp V, his power is to teleport, but he's still stronger than the average man. Like, he punched through a human being with ease, like paper. So like, even though he's just like, when he punched A-Train was just like shocked the fact that he felt it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
A-Train's power is speed. So it's like all of them have a certain degree of being like endurance and all that. And like, it would be just more difficult for her to pop
Right.
a soup's head. But like,
By the
Yeah,
way,
yeah, I
now that
think it
she's
depends
vice
on her
president,
ability.
or she's going to be vice president, how long before she pops the president's head?
She's not going to pop his head. It's going to be more subtle, I think.
Okay.
I think it'll be more subtle.
yeah. She doesn't want it to be known that
Public,
she
yeah.
did it, because if that was the case, she would have took care of that senator instead of having Homelander have the Deep do it. If she really wanted just to get him out of the way. She could have just been, behind the trees in the woods somewhere when he was in and just popped his head and just kept it going, which she did the entire second season, which was just pop people's
Just
heads.
popping heads, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's just up on a tree somewhere.
Here's a question. She can do that from long distance. Is that not what she did in season 2?
I think she can do it.
Oh.
I think she can do it if she sees you.
Yeah, it's got to be a line of sight. But I mean, she could literally be a sniper like that. I mean, she could be like on a building somewhere with a scope.
No,
you can
but
see
and because I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, right? Was she in the room with all the people whose head she popped in season 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. There was one time she popped somebody's head at an undisclosed location that was out in the open. I can't remember who it was, but
she
they had
killed the whatever the fuck, the cult leader, I guess, that the Deep was talking to. She was like outside of his office across the street.
Yeah. And she and the boys had met with someone at like an airport or whatever. It was like no one else there.
Oh, one of the FBI lady.
Yes, the FBI lady. She killed the FBI lady, and that was like there was literally nobody. Like when after her head popped, they looked around like
they all
did
freaked
that?
out. They were like, "What?"
And there was just nobody around. So like she could be pretty far away when she does it. But I still kind of feel like that far away for Homelander to not immediately like find her and
or like choke her and snap her neck.
Okay, so A-Train. I liked A-Train's development this season, but I also don't really care about him, to be honest, like as a person. I did want to say I was in tears also when he came out with that goddamn African suit. I was like, hello? Like, and I appreciate that literally everybody was just like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So
you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that everyone thought it was bullshit. And regardless about how anybody may feel about Ashley, I do like that Ashley was like, you only care now because it affects you. What about all the murders I covered up for you? You know what I'm saying? You don't care about other people like that. So, no, go
ahead. I'll jump in after you. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I liked his development. I like that we actually see, like, of course, it's gonna affect him. He paralyzed his fucking brother. You know, I get that, but I also don't really care about A-Train as a character.
So I for me, A-Train, what was interesting about him this season, because again, he has more fake deaths than the MCU, right? But I think that the commentary on how brands and corporations and social media managers and things like that they co-opt these sort of real social movements and how they made it into a fucking commercial, right? Because they embraced the fact that he did the dumb shit with coming out in those ridiculous colors, and it just reminded me back but it reminded me of back during the George Floyd protests and things like that.
That Kardashian,
exactly.
It was
the same commercial.
Kendall or Kylie, one of them. I think it was Kylie actually. Yeah, Soda. That was genius. I loved it.
And even further, right? Like we saw every company in the world putting BLM in their fucking bios or whatever. And it was like, it was to a point where it's like, okay, you guys this doesn't feel like support anymore. This feels like,
it was very disgusting. I got like about halfway through the summer or whenever it happened, I was just like, I'm definitely not believing this shit anymore because you would see it everywhere. So I really like the commentary there, and like it's also that one part where they were talking about Supersonic and whatever, and they were like, he makes the teenage girls' panties wet, and then Annie was like, can you like not say shit like that?
Yeah.
And then
come on, he's a grown man.
She wanted like the chick who's from England or whatever to be on the team, and like Ashley was like, oh, but she's you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And honestly speaking, save that girl's life. Honestly speaking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Save that girl's life. So, but yeah. So I definitely go ahead.
I was just saying, like, how many people have met people in HR like Ashley?
Oh yeah,
I feel like I have.
I've met 1,000. Yeah.
Definitely met a few like that. Working for big corporations. I did want to say I like the parallel of A Train killing a rapist by dragging him.
Racist.
Huh?
Yeah.
Racist.
Yeah, I
You
said
said
racist, right?
rapist.
Oh, my bad. Racist. By
Maybe he's a
dragging
rapist
him.
too. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was never confirmed with him, but still, like, he was definitely a racist and dragged the racist to death. And then we know that, like, in real life, that's what racist people have done to black people for generations. So to me, I was just like, when I saw it, I just kind of nodded my head, like, yeah, I like that nod to that. But
Yeah. I me
A
too.
Train
Promo
was
said right on, brother.
Yeah, and I think it was like, listen,
Right on,
it's
soul
great that
brother.
it's great he can finally run again, but it's like some kind of vile to put that
I was
racist
about to say,
who
yeah,
paralyzed his brother's heart into his chest. You know what I'm saying? But
I
really,
know, like, that sucks.
that must
Yeah.
feel so
But then
like
he's
disgusting. Ugh.
but does it though? It seemed like he was excited that he got everything back.
no, I didn't read it as
I didn't get
excitement.
that.
I
I
think
didn't
it
get
was
that.
more like confusion, shock, and a little bit of like disgust too.
Very, very much disgust. I can see on his face when it hit him that he's got this guy.
Like, I
So
got
it's like,
whose
for him,
part in
it's like
me?
he tried to get rid of this guy. Like, this guy crippled his brother. This guy disrespected him and his community. And he's like, you know what?
But
He finally finally lost it. In despite everything that was going on and knowing the position was going to put him in, he did that. Then come to find out, they didn't put this man's heart in my chest. Really?
Yeah.
yeah, and
Like,
I really think it is more to do with the dude Blue Hawk crippling his brother
Yeah.
Yeah.
than Blue Hawk just being racist. Because like, A Train was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I can't say anything. I don't think he cared at all about the community. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I don't think he really does care about that.
So
Yeah, it was more personal what he did to his family. He cares about his brother,
Yeah.
and probably the biggest thing that hurt him the most was that he thought that his brother would appreciate more of like what he had tried to do to help him, but his brother was just more concerned with the fact that you did it, didn't you? You actually killed him, didn't you? Because like his brother expected better from him or wanted him to be better, and I mean, look, I'm more the line like I can't stand A Train, but if I had that power,
I
I
would have
would've
killed
did
him
that.
too.
I would have killed. That would have happened weeks ago.
Yeah, I really think a lot of it.
Sloan was a mass murdering superhero.
I
Jeez.
really think a lot of it does
Hey.
go into the fact his brother was just angry in general. You
Yeah.
know.
Right,
And like
right.
this concept, like I wanted my kids to see him behind, bitch. You know he wasn't gonna go behind bars. Like cut it out. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like that was
right.
never gonna fucking
They
happen.
was always going to protect him.
Like they were always gonna protect him. And I also enjoyed, the very end. I think he got off pretty relatively easy with Homelander, but he didn't really do anything this season to Homelander other than like disgust him for being overweight or whatever. But when
Yeah.
Homelander was like, "How could you kill your own kind?" and then A Train looks at Black Noir's mask and then back at Homelander, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I guess I would have had to risk the death because I would have been like, "You just killed Black Noir. Like, what are you fucking talking about, dude?" And also like this concept of him considering, even though A Train is black, Homelander does consider other soups to be his kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting nod considering he's saying this to like a black man or whatever.
Yeah, but he's grown up just where him being the soup has been his entire identity. So for him, it's just like he didn't grow up around black people or in communities or even in a community where it's just full of white people, like a lot of towns in the Midwest. He just didn't grow up with any of that. So for him, it's just like, of course,
It's almost alien to him, where it's like, what? You guys hate each other because of that, not because you guys don't have powers. He just doesn't
right.
understand it.
Yeah, which makes sense a lot of times when Stormfront would be trying to like indoctrinate him into like that Nazi mentality, and he just be like, "Yo, go ahead with that, man."
He's like, I don't
walking
care
like
about that. Like, I don't care about the Aryan race. Okay,
He's like, yeah, whatever. Like, stop saying that right now. Like,
yeah, when he gave when she was talking about how, what did she say? She basically
like
tried to
blonde
turn it
hair,
around.
blue-eyed babies or something
And
like that.
when she was talking to Ryan and she was like, she made up some history, like it was basically the reverse about what happened with the Holocaust, and she just made it up. And Homelander's just like, bitch, what are you saying to my kid right now? You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, I listen, like I said, I don't really care about A-Train, but I was appreciative of his general development, and I really did like when Ashley called him out for that. All right, Maeve.
Yeah.
Maeve was barely in the season. I think that actor is doing something else or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy she got the spotlight at the end. I'm happy that she saw like, oh, I can beat this ninja's ass. You know what I'm saying? I do like that scene with her and Homelander where he confirmed he's like, I would never force you, but I do think she was coerced into being into a relationship with him, so it's like a different thing there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Even though
also
he may not have known
no, like I
that
said, she was
yeah.
coerced by like the company, if anything.
the company, right?
And that's probably why she turned to drinking so much because she couldn't be with her girlfriend or whatever. But I also think that I really like the scene between her and Homelander where he's like, I would never force myself on you, but I would harvest your eggs, bitch. I was like, hello.
Oh yeah.
Like that was very, very disgusting and vile on his end. So I
Very
really enjoyed
evil.
that. And then I liked her being the one to like finally take it because Annie has been like that moral compass for Maeve since the fucking beginning, you know? And
Mhm.
she's the one who essentially pushed Maeve to be better. I did like that, and I also like that they didn't kill her because she is a gay character, and bury your tropes is like, or bury your gays is like a trope that people are trying to avoid these days. But I really did think they were going to kill her. So
Yeah, I did like that. You can tell when she realized that she may have had a chance against Homelander. Like when she's locked up, he comes in and he's wearing makeup to cover up his bruises from his fight with Soldier Boy, and she's like, "Wait a minute, are you wearing concealer?" I
Well,
love that scene because she's just like, "Oh, you got your ass whipped, didn't you? Oh, so people out here can hurt you."
But see,
Interesting.
I feel like I don't know, maybe she just figured like she was going to fight to the death, but she was also saying like, I let people see what I want them to see. But she had been training the whole time while she was away specifically to kick Homelander's ass. So I wonder if she already had that feeling that, you know what, I could beat this guy.
no, I think it was a suicide mission, honestly.
Okay.
I would agree with the suicide mission. I think that she thought that she was gonna die. She was ready to. I think once fucking Homelander gouged out her right eye, she's like, all right, I gotta kill this guy one way or another. Or he's
Right,
not
right.
gonna
At
be
that
able to go
point,
down.
yeah. And then I you can see like almost like the disappointment in her face when she realized like, I gotta deal with Soldier Boy instead of dealing with him. Like when she's like, there's no one else that can really do this but me right now. So she threw him out, well, basically pushed him out the window with her. But yeah, I like that the part when she punched him and she made his nose bleed, like with
That was
Homelander.
great. That was great.
Yeah, and she really like this. It kind of exposed what I was saying earlier about like Homelander. He really can't fight. Like he hasn't been taught.
But
to
that's the
Well,
privilege right there.
I mean,
that is he's never had anybody like truly challenge him, and so he's never been put to the test, right?
Yeah.
And there's no fighter that can tell you they're a fighter that hasn't been in fights. I mean, not saying Homelander hasn't been in fights, but there were never any fights that he couldn't win. So, if you want to learn to box, you got to get punched in the face a little bit.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I think he did a pretty good job of 2-on-1 versus Butcher and Soldier Boy until the.
I mean,
very
that was
end.
3-on-1 actually.
Even
like,
at the end,
Huey jumped in too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those situations where he like keeps underestimating people, and he's like, I can beat this guy. Like it shouldn't be an issue. And then he's like, oh, okay.
He also doesn't have any formal training. Like people
Yeah.
I love Homelander. He is my favorite character. But it's like whenever people do these Homelander versus David, I'm like, bro, he doesn't have any fucking training. He can't beat any of these people. Like that Omni-Man versus Homelander. I'm like, you're fucking kidding, right?
Yeah,
the
Omni-Man
Omni-Man
destroy
versus
him in
Homelander.
Like in seconds. And it's not even a fucking fair
Listen.
fight because Omni-Man has killed other people who would have been of similar scale to fucking Homelander.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like it wouldn't have been like it's
With
just
ease.
baffling to me. So him getting
Freaking Invincible could beat Homelander
Exactly.
if you think about it.
Yeah,
And-
Mark could whoop his ass.
Yeah, Batman told that shit to Superman, right? About not having that kind of training. No, one thing I do want to add, because we were talking about that end scene with Maeve and her like taking one for the team or whatever. I do think, what they did with Huey at the end, where he was like, I could take this compound V and go in and try to, quote unquote, save her, or I could let her be her. right? And so he decided to turn up the lights so that she could, you know, do her thing. And that's really embracing, you know, who he is and his role, and just owning, like, look, she's the one with the powers. She can take care of herself. I don't have to do, you know, any dick swinging here. Like, let her be great. So that was a little bit of redemption for Huey, slightly.
Yeah. Also, Forget Me Nots, like, the power scaling doesn't make any sense. Maeve needed help to beat Stormfront, was taking on Homelander. First of all, Maeve did not need help to beat Stormfront. Maeve came in at the very end when Kimiko
so
and
sick.
Starlight were fighting Stormfront. She came in to help them. She came in to help them. That's the first thing I want to say. Secondly, if you couldn't tell that Homelander was not trying to fight her and was holding back, with him holding his hands up in the stop gesture, and I'm just trying to get the soldier boy in, or he even said, he like dismissed her. He's like, Maeve, not now. And he like did a little hand wipe gesture or whatever. Like, he wasn't trying to fight her, and he does still care about her. You know, he did say, you know, I loved you, blah, 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 whatever, right? Like, he did genuinely care about her in his own fucked up, twisted way. So I don't think he was trying to fight her. I don't think he definitely wasn't trying to fight her, and he wasn't trying to hurt her.
Kill her.
And it wasn't until she fucking stabbed that goddamn thing in his ear or whatever.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that was
Rain.
Yeah, where he was like, yo, bitch, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's like, all right, I'm gonna take your eye now. Like, that's your punishment.
Yeah. So, you know, I really think that, like, in the comics, Maeve is actually stronger. Either Maeve is stronger here in the show than she is in the comics, or Homelander is nerfed in comparison. So
I think it might be Homelander is nerfed a little bit in the show.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's just do some rapid fires before we get to Soldier Boy and Black Noir. Okay, real quick. Like I said, Ashley's development, me and Slow-Mo had some conversations about this. I understand not liking Ashley. But like her development this season makes perfect sense to me. Mine's the weird sexual stuff. I thought that shit was weird. But like overall, her putting on this persona of, I'm just gonna be like of this mask or whatever. I don't have any feelings, that kind of thing. It makes perfect sense, especially considering when she brought in that kid, who's it, the blind kid, and tried to get him to join the team, and Homelander like smashed his fucking eardrum, so now he's blind and deaf. Which is fucked up. And then he was all like, from now on, you don't think you are an extension of me. So it was like her taking on traits of Homelander. I mean, it made perfect sense, but you could still see that beneath that and underneath that, she does still care. She does have empathy, and she's terrified. And of course, it's like playing into that. That bitch is so stressed that her hair, she pulled all her hair out. And when Homelander was like, yeah, take that wig off. Bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, my girlfriend thought that was nuts. He's like, oh my God, I forgot he had X-ray vision. He's just like looking at her being like, take that fucking wig off. Like,
see, okay, now I remember, you guys reminded me. Okay, I thought she had like some terminal disease or something. No,
she started ripping
like
her hair out in the beginning of the season, and then by the end of the season, he's like, take the wig off, and you see that she's basically ripped almost all of her hair out. Yeah. She's wearing a wig to hide it. All that said, I understand everything Luca said. Like me looking at a conversation about this a little while ago, I can't get over the fact that like she's basically using her position and authority to get sexual favors out of co-workers, employees that work under her.
And I read it as a different way, because it doesn't make. How would you even know that someone would want to get pegged? Why would you have that dildo in your fucking drawer unless you already had an established relationship with somebody? So that I read it as them having an established relationship, and that's why when she was like, "Did your brain get fucked by stupid?" And he was like, "What if I say yes?" You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like
it's still a power imbalance whether he's down with it or not, because you're still in the position of authority. It's no different than like if you switch. If it's a man in that position, people wouldn't be like, "Oh, well, she's down with it." But like, no, how do you know she's down with it? That's her boss.
That's actually not true, because there are
instances. That is very true. I've seen that people say that all the time.
If I could just,
well, you did cut me off first.
I don't care, but like that's actually not true, because there have been instances in which it's like a secretary will sleep with her boss. If we've seen this in media before, and no one is all like, oh, the boss is forcing the secretary. Like, there's been instances where she is willingly the mistress and she's willingly helping him cheat on his wife. We've seen that in like comedies and other sorts of media. So I don't automatically just think that if someone is under you is sleeping with their boss, it's a power play. I just think it happens in which I do. I agree with you overall. She is in a position of power, but I wouldn't automatically think just because she works under him, he's forcing her. If the roles were reversed for me.
I'm not. I didn't say that it's an automatic that that's what she was doing, but just that I've seen a lot of people on social media all the time say it's a power position regardless, because we don't know how it started. But even if it was initiated from her, he could be just choosing to go along with it because, well, yeah, this is my job. If I say no, what do I do? Like that kind of power dynamic. I've seen multiple women talk about that in real life all the time. So I'm just thinking that, like, how is this okay? Like it just seemed like necessarily okay, but just like something that wasn't really explored at all in the show.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I took it differently. This idea that you're letting
me too.
It's this idea that you're letting your boss peg you. You know what I'm saying? Like with a fucking red, white, and blue Homelander goddamn fucking dildo.
I completely forgot about this.
Like,
when
you
you
know
guys
what I'm
started
saying?
talking
I was
about
just kind of like,
Yeah, it's just 2 scenes throughout the entire season. It's like the first one is the director of the movie,
right,
who completely looks like he doesn't want any of it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But then there's the other guy in the office who looked like he's into it. But it was just 2 scenes.
So yeah, like I said, I don't automatically think that that's the case or whatever. Personally, I read it. I just read that scene differently. I would give you the one in the bathroom because I don't know if he was just freaked out because she was like, pull my hair out. She was like, pull my hair out or whatever, that weird shit. I don't know if it was that or just the situation in general, but yeah, I don't care. Stan, Edgar, once again, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito. Excellent. Yep. Probably the best addition to the cast that they've made. I think he's absolutely amazing. He's taken on Stillwell's position from the comic, James Stillwell's position or whatever. Yeah. Which, real quick, I do want to point out, I do think it's very odd that every time they decide to gender swap a character, it's so they can sleep with Homelander. Now, that being said, I understand that Soldier Boy and Homelander had that little thing.
Yeah, in the book,
where he was like, if you sleep with me, I'll get you into the 7 or whatever.
Yeah,
I get that, but like them having this weird sexual relationship with Stormfront and like the mommy kink thing with what's her name
in the beginning in the first season.
I know I know it's Stillwell. What's her name though? Her first name though? Madeline. I'm not really that much of a fan of that aspect of it either. So, but yeah, I think Stan is like an excellent character. I do like that he is not afraid of Homelander. I do like that he puts him in his place every time, you know, because at the end of the day, Homelander does strive for and want that approval, and Stan never gives it to him. When Homelander made that comment about, what was it, 86 over something or whatever, he was talking about his heart rate. And I also do think that maybe it didn't happen exactly how he wanted it, but he did want Victoria to be in that position of power, and that's why he wasn't that upset.
Right. So about that, Luca, do you think Stan ever looks for any retribution against Victoria? Or does he respect her more now?
No.
He respects her more.
Yeah. Because you know he adopted her and basically taught her all of the lessons that he was using to run Vought. So in a way, it's like I'm passing the torch on in this weird way. But I do think he was like a bit like, whoa, taken back. He's like, I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. But okay, I guess this is what we're doing. He was great.
So what role do you think he? I mean, maybe this is the end for him in the series, but
it's not.
If what role do you think he plays going forward?
I think he serves as her advisor. Like she'll go to him in prison and be like, "Dad, what do I do?"
Well, he's not in prison yet. He's under investigation.
Yeah, he'll get out of that.
Yeah,
wherever he'll probably get out of that.
Yeah, they'll bring him back. They will bring him back once Homelander runs the company into the ground. So
yeah.
Oh, see, I was wondering if like Butcher would go to him to work with him to kill Homelander.
No. And I really love his Stan Edgar because he is kind of right throughout the entire show. It's like you got to discipline these superheroes because that's the only way they learn. It's like children, and you know, he was always very spot on with like his dissections of like Homelander and the other superheroes. There's like pretty spot on stuff.
I love that he's never been afraid of Homelander. Like when
Yeah.
Homelander kind of just like he thinks he's finally got him. He's gloating and like
Called him
Stan
bad
just
product.
because Stan
murders
sees
his
him.
self confidence. He
Yeah.
just walks off. And I was
'Cause-
like, I love that.
Because Stan sees what he is. He's like, I know
Yeah.
what you are. Like, we made you. Of course I know. I have an entire file of you, of who you are. So, like, I know how to work with you. And that's why he was so great. It's like, yeah, tell Homelander to go fuck himself.
Yeah, he's got zero fear of Homeland. He's like probably like the only person on the planet that's not afraid of him, and it's just great because he's not a powered person at all. He's just the guy.
Why do we think Homelander didn't kill him?
Because
Stan Edgar?
in the
Yeah.
comic book, once again, Edgar Stillwell was supposed to. Edgar is Stillwell essentially from the comics, and
Yes.
Stillwell from the comics is a sociopath. He doesn't have any feelings about anything, and he was never afraid of Homelander. So at the very end, Homelander is standing outside of not standing, flying outside of Stillwell's office, and Stillwell's like, okay, let me just go ahead and open the glass up. You don't have to break. I don't want you breaking the glass, and so they have to clean it up. And then like Homelander is trying to threaten him, and he's just like, oh God, kill me now. And then when Homelander's like, I just don't understand why you've never been affected. He's just like, you're just very boring. Like, oh, you're so powerful. You could kill anyone. You're like a child, you know? So it's like a lot of it is apathy. And Homelander, like I said before, he needs that approval. He craves it. And more than anything, he wants Stan to feel that fear before he would do anything to hurt him. That because he wants Stan to also like respect him as well, respect him or fear him, one or the other. But Stan like doesn't do either. He's not scared of him, and he doesn't respect him as a person. So
yeah,
right. And I'm super interested to see where Homelander goes from here now that he has people cheering him on for killing opposition. Right. So he'll still have all that love and adoration, albeit fake or whatever that is. But he just killed someone in public. There's no covering that up. So now that he can do that, where does Homelander go with that?
Well, yeah, I definitely see him going off the rails, but it's not
there
like
are some places.
Like, yeah, I just can't see him. I mean, I can see him doing that, but it's like he's still gonna get backlash for it. Like, you can't just murder people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it was just the people at the rally that had that reaction. Think about that was a rally. Think about Trump rallies where Trump says something completely ridiculous and people just cheer. Other people in other areas didn't have the same reaction, so more than likely, other people
not as
across
ridiculous
the
as
nation,
Herschel Walker, by the way.
But
anyway.
true. But yeah, I imagine other people who saw that on national television didn't have the same reaction as the
Okay.
people at the rally.
Do you want to know where I think they're going to go with it?
Where are they going?
I think that they're very much going to continue down this Trump route and very much like have him do rallies and have him do speeches in the next couple of seasons. Like really lean into like him being like not necessarily like a political figure, but like sort of in the same vein as Trump. Like everybody loves
he's
him.
already been doing that in a sense,
right,
you know?
right.
So.
But they continue that to like a larger scale to where like maybe in the show they do something similar to like a January 6th of like he inspired all of his followers to like go and have a riot or go take a Capitol building or something, or maybe like how it is in the comics, go take the White House at the very end.
Yeah, maybe. They did have a character who was in the background who was dressed like that one guy who was at the January 6th thing.
Yeah.
And he like had the I don't know, like
he had like a moose head.
Yeah, moose head on him. Or some fucking loser. I'm sorry, but anyway. Okay, let's see here. Victoria Newman. Smart of her to give her kid that permanent V. She probably knows what's going on in regards to like a quote unquote race war. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she wants to make sure her daughter is safe from that because, like I said, Homeland was all like, we're different from them or blah blah blah, whatever, right? Her betraying Stan makes perfect sense. Her wanting to get into White House makes perfect sense, and she's definitely going to be part of the president's going to die so she can be the president, and that's all I really have for her.
Same.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like kind of mirror like the potential them doing a raid on the White House or the raid on the Capitol kind of deal, like a January 6th kind of thing, that their target would be her. The
Oh
same
yeah,
way
I
the
didn't
target
think about
she's
for
that.
gonna
There you
Jan
go.
be
6
kinda-
was the was Pence. So like that would be
Slow-mo, they need to start paying us. They need to start paying us salary. We're figuring out the script for season 4 already. Let's go.
right.
I,
I also don't think she's going to survive season 4. I think she's definitely
but
going to die.
who's gonna kill her though? Is it gonna be Butcher or is it gonna be Homelander?
It'll probably be Huey. Or
Well, when I say Butcher, I mean somebody from Butcher's crew.
yeah,
So-
someone from Butcher's crew.
Yeah, I think it'll be because they already have said that's their target next season. So
Yeah.
I think they'll accomplish their goal. They'll knock her out. And I can see it being Huey. Yeah.
And I think Ryan is going to be the one that's keeping them alive. Ryan's probably going to say, "Don't touch." Say to Homelander, kill who you want, but don't touch Butcher.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
the one who got Homelander to leave at the end. So
Yeah.
okay, so real quick, Ryan, listen, I know people are for some reason really upset with him, which I don't really get. Like, he is a child who
He's a
has been
child.
through a lot of trauma, and it makes perfect sense why he would go to Homelander, especially when Homelander's like, Ryan, you don't think I blame you for that, right? Like, it's not your fault, right? And showed him that empathy and caring that he was so desperately craving. Because like throughout the beginning of the season, he kept it was clear that he kept trying to reach out to Butcher because he was dealing with his own issues. It's, as Slomo was saying, Grace is not very a warm person after what happened with her grandchildren. Completely understandable. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so, it makes perfect sense that he would go to his father in that moment. I really also liked the end when that music was playing. Oh, that shit was so damn good. And then you could see the season ends on Ryan slowly starting to smirk, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And I do
which
also
is super
agree.
scary.
Yeah, it was scary and it's unnerving, and I loved it. And I also do agree that eventually there's going to come a time where Homelander does do something that's like a little bit too oh, okay,
Too fucked up. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't vibe with this. So
Yeah.
I
Or
think-
maybe Homelander says something about Ryan's mother that kind of leads him to realize you're not the person I thought you were, or maybe he finds out how he was conceived.
ooh, I think that would be a good one. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, and that might really
while
turn
they're
him
fighting, Homelander's about to strangle Butcher, and Ryan comes in. It's like, no, don't do it. And he's like, what? Like this guy and your mother, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, so I think I agree with. I don't remember who said it in the chat, but Ryan got to die. Him and Homelander.
Oh, he's
got
not
to
dying.
go.
Ryan's
I-
not dying.
I need
Ryan's
them
not
both
dying.
gone. Ryan is like Atreus in my book.
Oh, come on.
What?
Hey, yo, Atreus is annoying as fuck, though. I agree with
Trace
that.
is annoying, yes.
But he's
Yeah.
also still like a child. He's just who has a
A
standoffish
rude
father,
child.
But with a standoffish father, and his mother just passed. Like, I get it.
Listen,
you know?
I'm cutting Ryan some slack. His dad's Homelander, for Christ's sakes. Like he's
his
having
grandfather
a
is
tough life.
Soldier Boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I was just like, yes, Soldier Boy, get both of them. They got to die. No, but I and again, the reason the season ended up the way it ended up is because Butcher couldn't get past, I think, what happened, and in many ways I empathize with Butcher because how hard is that, right? Like your wife. You thought she left you, and then you find out she didn't, and now she's a prisoner. But then she slept with Homelander, but then he kind of raped her, and then they had a kid, and then that kid is now you have to take care of that kid, and then that kid kills her. It's like, and that kid is Homelander's kid who raped your wife. That's a lot to process. So the fact that he couldn't build a real emotional connection with the kid, which I still kind of think he did, but
He did, yeah.
He couldn't, he still had that anger there. I totally get it.
Yeah,
And you can't, and it's not the kid's fault. But that's not going to stop you from being angry.
Yeah, I definitely would think that the only thing stopping him from killing Ryan in the end of season 2 was him realizing that Ryan could be a weapon against Homelander, and then him slowly developing genuine
Feelings
care
for him.
for the kid.
Yeah.
So.
You don't think it was because he made a promise that he didn't kill him?
I think that has something to do with it as well.
A
Like he
small
made a
part, yeah.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
small part. But I think he's like, oh fuck, I actually like this kid, and I think that's why he decides to leave him. Where he's like, no, I need to because I'm not going to leave if I keep staying. I'm going to stay here, and I have a job to do. I have a mission to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank God we're done with all that shit. Listen, they did Black Noir so fucking dirty. And I'm
Talk about
actually
it.
I'm really annoyed that they killed him. Like, I understand that he will be coming back in a sense or whatever. But I'm annoyed that they killed his character, considering he has been abused his entire fucking life. You know what
His
I'm saying?
entire life, yeah.
Or at least his entire time with being a soup on that goddamn team. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
with
he had
There was
Soldier
no
Boy.
arc for him, right?
Exactly. Soldier
Yeah,
Boy
there's
beating
no
the
into
shit
it.
out of him, and then finding out like he's got like little
Yes.
cartoon characters in his head that developed from the trauma that he had as a kid when he accidentally paralyzed somebody. And
Yeah.
then him telling Homelander, which you could see from the little hearts that were popping out of his fucking side or whatever, he does actually care about Homelander and they are friends. And then Homelander fucking murders him for someone he doesn't fucking know because it's just a blood thing. And then you just see him slowly dying. I'm just like, yo, what was the fucking point? Like, he
Yeah.
just his death was completely
Yeah.
fucking pointless. And I wish that Homelander was just like, yes, I'm upset, but like hurt him in a way that doesn't kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it was a misstep for them story-wise because you can't start a story arc and then have this like the resolution of that story arc be a confrontation with another character and then never have that conversation happen. At
Yeah.
no point in the season did he ever encounter Soldier Boy.
No.
Like we saw it in the flashbacks, kinda, but we didn't see current day Black Noir actually come face to face with the person that he's feared his entire life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and-
that was just like, how did you just allow it to go like that? Like, he should have been there at the final scene, and then if you wanted to have Homelander take him out, then fine, right? But at least allow him to face his fear, and whether he died against, Soldier Boy, or Homelander took him out while he tried to fight Soldier Boy or whatever, like that would have been better than, hey, he's coming to his friend for help, and his friend kills him because he just found out, oh yeah, that's my dad. But like, I don't even really know this dude. The last time I saw him, he tried to kill me. He might try to kill me immediately again.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take you out, even though we've been cool. You're literally the only person I respect on this entire team. It's just
Right.
like, who
Yeah,
wrote that part? It was just
yeah,
like, so, it was so off.
There's this thing in screenwriting where it's like, if you show a gun in Act 1, it better go off by Act 3. And it's kind of like they showed you the gun of there's going to be a confrontation between Soldier Boy and Black Noir, but the gun never goes off.
Yeah.
Right. So I do wish they did something where, they do get the confrontation. Maybe Black Noir is winning. And right as he's kind of, takes his self-confidence back and he's going to beat Soldier Boy, Homeland comes in and stops it because he's like, that's my father. So he has to kill his friend, to keep his father alive. But again,
Yeah, I just didn't like how they neutered him, because up until this point, he's one of the more badass heroes on the Seven. Like,
Right.
anytime he goes after someone, it's like everyone's like, "Oh fuck, Black Noir is coming after us," and then all of it just to be, oh well, it's a arm through your stomach. That's how you go.
Yeah. I actually, like, when he first ran out of Vought, I thought it was like a protocol in place or something, right? Since they knew that Soldier Boy was still alive and he got Vaught's approval. But no, I mean, listen, in a sense, I do, and I did enjoy seeing the fucking cartoon animals, mostly for like the little playback to see how bad Soldier Boy really was. You know
Bro,
what
that
I'm saying?
playback was
Yeah.
nuts.
Really
Yeah.
nuts in that aspect. But other than that, yeah, like, I just thought his death was completely fucking pointless and it was annoying. So
I agree with all of that. And this may make me a terrible person, but I laughed out loud when he was dying and he was like, you'll be in the warm embrace of Christ.
Oh,
It's just-
yeah.
I was like, perfect.
No, I was just, like I said, I was just annoyed. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they're really gonna kill him? So yeah, okay.
Yeah, like every
I-
character got character development, and I get that they did develop the character, but it's just weird. He'd been the silent killer in the background, and then you finally see it, but they don't really, they end it before it goes anywhere. So
Yeah, I when that happened, I thought he was going to get back up and then like join the fight at the end. Like the entire time I was thinking like and Noir's just going to come in the room or something. Like he regenerated in the office and he's going to come in the room and join
that's what I
the
was
fight
asking.
or
Does he
something.
come back next season? But I guess he's going to be someone else.
Like I said, very annoying because first of all, how did he fucking survive his brains being on the fucking ground? Like how? You know what I'm saying? I thought that was part of the reason why they showed that goddamn as they say Looney Tunes or whatever cartoon thing, was to show that his brains got bashed into the ground, literally brain matter in the fucking ground, and he was still able to recover from that.
He's trying to pick it up.
So-
Didn't you see the little lamb was trying to pick it up and put it
I
back
don't know,
in?
man. Yeah, yo, fuck this shit. Like, okay. Jensen Ackles, Soldier Boy. Jensen Ackles, I love Jensen Ackles. I'm a big fan of Supernatural. I stopped after season like 8 or something, but big fan of Supernatural. Jensen Ackles did an amazing fucking job of this reimagining of Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy in the comics, the third iteration of Soldier Boy in the comics, is very different than how the character was portrayed in this season, but I think he did a fantastic job. His character story and arc makes perfect fucking sense. Him seeing himself in Homelander and being like, "You're a fucking disappointment, you disgust me," makes perfect sense. Him like and it leading up to that, when he was talking about like, "Oh, men wear those fucking what is it?
Capes.
What are those things called? It was like
You talking about when it was the guy walking around with the little harness for his baby?
Oh yeah, the little harness for the baby, and he was just like, "Ugh, men walk around like pussies and whatever." Absolutely fantastic. I liked.
Also, the story he told about his father. It's like you even got a little bit of, you kind of felt bad for him slightly.
I didn't. He's
fuck that guy.
Spoiled
fuck that guy.
Spoiled 100%. Who can't get like the approval as his father. I don't give a fuck. I thought it made perfect sense to his character as well. That like deep seated like longing for having a child and stuff like that. And then to end off, one of my favorite scenes was he was like, "No, Bill Cosby's America's Dad."
Yo, that was hilarious.
And when he was talking about, he made a strong drink, I was like, "Hello?" Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, which like initially when he first said about Cosby, I was like, "Oh, he doesn't know about Cosby yet." But then when he said, "Oh, he made a strong drink," I was like, "Oh,
no,
he does know about Cosby." That's what made it even funnier.
He kind of chuckled when he said it too. He's like, "Oh man, that Bill."
Yeah, he's probably just had that nasty shit with him, to be honest. So
he probably engaged in all that.
So why do you guys think that he, even though he did have that longing to have a child, or he thought it meant something to him for a minute, and how the story he gave about his father not approving of him, telling him he took a shortcut and all that, why do you think he still went ahead with trying to kill Homelander?
Because a lot of people become their parents.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, he saw Homelander, like he saw himself in Homelander. He saw like this, because when he was saying sniveling little pussy begging for approval, that was basically what he was doing with his own father, begging his father for love and approval. And also, I think it was like I know I can have a kid. I know I can have a kid. I can start over.
Right. Yeah. And that's how he was thinking. You know what? They had my DNA. They made one of these. We can just make another one. Like he just like a lot of people hate their parents, but then become their parents as adults. Right. And so like he literally became the same thing that his father was to him, the Homelander in that moment.
I think it has a lot to do with sort of the caricature and satire they're trying to do with his character. Because he's a clear representation of like the idealistic ideals and philosophies of like the 1950s. And it just so happens that they also use Captain America, a comic book hero that sort of represents a lot of those ideals.
That's the real Captain America right there.
Right. And like the ideals of like, of like being quote unquote like a man, not being a pussy, not being weak, not being looked at as weak. Like, I really enjoyed that they sort of like really stuck to that satire and caricature to be like, this guy is everything that is fucking wrong in the world, and we need to get rid of him. He should not be able to exist.
It's like if Archie Bunker had superpowers.
His entire team turned on him. Think about that. Think about how hated you have to be, where literally everyone you know
hates you, hates your guts.
Is down with a plot to get rid of you. And they knew they couldn't kill you, even though I do think that, like, I think there's a plot hole there. The guy with the mind powers, why didn't they just go to him and be like, put him to sleep? And apparently, like, hold on, he knew that, like, once he did it to people, the only way to get out of it is he let you out of it. You basically just starved to death as you're stuck in your own nightmare. Why didn't they just go tell him, hey, look, we basically gonna give you an alley-oop here. We're gonna tell Soldier Boy you got something to tell him. You just look at him. It's over. Why do they have to go through this whole song and dance and have the Russians come get them? That's a little bit of a plot hole because their boy could have just took them out anytime they wanted them to.
So one thing,
sure.
I just to the previous question, I think that he, landed on trying to kill Homelander almost because, like, he's back, and before he left, he was the number one thing. He was on all the billboards, and now this is the new popular person, and he didn't want any competition of being the number one super.
I mean, I thought that was a real small part of it. I think for the most part, he just didn't care about having to kill somebody. And he just really doesn't care about killing people, period. He didn't know Homelander from anything before finding out that was his son. But, like, he cared more about getting revenge on his team because they betrayed him. And if that took, hey, I got to fight the strongest man alive right now, and he might be stronger than me, so be it. As long as these losers here can point me to my old team and I can get my revenge after that, I don't care what happens.
Man, they gave him some great lines this season too. Like when he first sees Homelander, he's like, "Buddy, you're just the cheap fucking knockoff." I was like, "Oh my god, somebody's actually talking to Homelander like that? That's crazy."
But Homelander's stronger than him, no?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Not by in this show, not by a large amount, but definitely stronger. We saw that in that at Herogasm.
Also, like the super fucked up scenes of him being experimented on, where they're like firing a gun in his mouth to see if it like comes out the other side to see if he's like bulletproof. Like, there's some pretty like fucked up shit that clearly Soldier Boy went through when they put whatever the hell's inside of him.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure is part of the reason why he's just like, I gotta kill all of them for what I got put through for decades.
Yeah. I like that they were like, he's like, he smokes a copious amount of reefer, and he's like, more reefer, and he's just smoking like joints all the time as he's hunting the team.
Yeah. I do think that I kind of like. One, I knew that they were going to eliminate him in a sense. I didn't know whether they were going to kill him or they were going to find a way to get rid of him, which they just found a way to get rid of him. They shelved him so that he can come back later if they choose to bring him back. But is he
confirmed for next season?
No, he's going to be on another TV show called Big Sky. And he's already been introduced in that show. That show has a way of introducing characters where they kind of introduced them in the previous season, but then give them bigger roles in the next season. So he got introduced at the end of the current season of Big Sky, and he's already confirmed to have a major role in the next season. So they always take like a big actor. The first season was Ryan Felipe. In the second season, I forgot the actor's name, but he's done a lot of movies. And then now it's Jensen Ackles. So like,
what show is this?
It's called Big Sky. It's got remember the wife to the leader of the Vikings on the TV show Vikings?
Yes.
She and this hot black actress, I can't remember her name, but they are the two main characters. Like, they're like two detectives, private investigators. and it's like it takes place in Montana, I think, and it's like a lot of like it's very much like centered around the culture of Montana and the way people are and stuff. But there's a lot of murder, it's a lot of like drug cartels and stuff, and human trafficking kind of things that they're investigating, trying to stop. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good show, but they always have like the male lead on the show is always rotated out, and it's always like some guy that's like a big name. So,
okay,
Jensen's up now. So,
all right.
the thing is that he's probably only going to be there for a season, and then after that, he could be free to come back.
I think he's also doing another animated Batman project as well.
Yeah, he could voice that from home and send in the audio clips on the weekends.
That's true.
So what do we expect? And I know Luca was probably going to transition to this once you got back, but what do we expect for season 4?
I expect the boys to eliminate Victoria. I think it's going to take all season, but I think Victoria is going to make her play to either become president or just influence the president from, vice president, and we'll see the effects of that. I think Homelander is going to become more and more comfortable with being free to do whatever he wants with a large number of the country being cool with Homelander being this blonde white guy with powers, and it makes them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
I think he will lose Ryan though. I think something that he does next season will have Ryan turn away from him, and I think probably the resolution to that won't come into the 5th season, but I think that's how like it will end with the boys taking out Victoria, and really there just being Homelander left to deal with.
I think.
Sorry. What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about what we
4.
think for what will happen in season 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When we're done with that, if we can just give our final scores and then head on out. Go ahead, Ever.
So I think you're right about Victoria getting the axe by the end of the season, but I think that's after she becomes president. But I think after she is taken out, Homelander uses that as an opportunity to either be president or just be a dictator. And I think his people are going to cheer him on for being a dictator. So that will be like the ending for that season. I do think Huey and Starlight are going to break up.
God.
And they're going to
Please
do a whole.
No. I can't deal with their. I can't deal with their relationship.
I think it's going to be a will they or won't they awkward new thing, and he's going
again
gag.
Yes,
Gag.
yes, but they're going to finally actually break up. I don't think Butcher dies until the end of the show because I don't think they do a season with Butcher gone. I think that MM and or Frenchie is on the chopping block to die next season.
I think Frenchie, if I had the pick.
Yeah, I'm not saying either one. I don't know which one it is, but it could be one of them or both. And I think that I don't think Homelander loses Ryan. I think Ryan becomes evil, and then Butcher is the only way to get to him. So Butcher is going to have to find a way to get close to him and talk to him. But I don't think that happens this season. I think we're going to see very evil Ryan in season 4.
I just can't imagine that all of his mother's lessons mean absolutely nothing. You
He
know,
smiled at somebody getting their head blown off.
I think he was smiling more at the fact that his father was being accepted, even though he hurt someone, because all of his life he's been essentially told that he has to be careful. And especially after he accidentally killed his mother and damaged Stormfront, just seeing that people were in support of Homelander despite him killing someone and showing off that power. I think that it was more about the approval and less about him wanting to hurt people. I don't think he wants to hurt people.
Yeah, and plus Homelander defended him in that moment. That guy threw, even though it couldn't have hurt him, but like psychologically and emotionally, it probably did hurt him way more than what just hitting a kid with a piece of paper did. But at that moment, Homelander stood up for him when like in a moment where he was already nervous, being revealed to the public for the first time. And then the first reaction he gets is somebody hitting him in the head with a piece of paper and booing him. And his father defended him
a
at
bottle,
that
yeah.
point. A bottle that like his father defended him. Like he may have felt like, yeah, damn
Right.
it. But not necessarily like, oh, I love to see that guy's head explode,
Yeah, and I also think I think Ryan is going to end up killing Homelander, maybe on accident. I don't know what, because clearly he doesn't
Oh,
have
that's
control of
interesting.
his power, and Homelander's going to forgive him. So, okay. Anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and give our final scores and get the fuck out of here. Listen, 10 out of 10 season for me, absolutely excellent. Even with the minor gripes and annoyances I had, it was overall just a fantastic season. Way better than season 2. Listen, season 2 didn't get too good until episode 6. So
Yeah,
but yeah. So
I agree with everything you just said, except for about season 2. I actually liked season 2. It wasn't as good as season 1, but I was very happy with. I think it played out well throughout the whole thing. But 10 out of 10, and that doesn't mean that everything is perfect in the way you would have liked it. But when you look at the whole, I couldn't ask for a better show. So also 10 out of 10.
All right, I'll go next. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a few minor gripes, and that's the reason why I take a point off. But
is that because there was nobody named Paul in it? They weren't in the desert.
can he finish, please?
Okay, sorry.
Exactly. I didn't cut you off.
It's been 2 hours, man. Like, come on.
So I did thoroughly enjoy this, but at the same time, it's probably one of the best things I've watched this year. But I did have some minor gripes, and that's why I took a point off.
Yeah. I would agree with Slow-Mo in his score. This is like a rock solid 9 out of 10 for me. Probably the highest recommendation I could give. Best TV show of 2022, or at least the best season of TV that I've seen this year. It beats out Stranger Things. It beats out Peaky Blinders. It beats out all of that. And a lot of that has to do with how well I think a lot of these last 3 episodes, pay off a lot of things while, creating some new interesting questions that you want to see in season 4. So yeah, man, I loved it. I had a blast.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think it's slightly better than Stranger Things season 4. I think, and that says a lot.
I think Stranger Things suffers from that. Like, why did you guys just not release all of the episodes? Like, I think it suffers from those like 2 extra episodes being held off for like a month.
Netflix did that because they're trying to keep.
They are struggling.
They're trying to keep subs. But
Totally.
we're gonna make you pay for a whole nother month just to see this full season, basically.
Totally. And
but
I think
it was a good season, though. Yeah,
it was a good season. It's just like you guys could have released both. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I think their issue was they had to fix the mistakes they made in season 3 and season 4, and that kind of hindered some of the things that they did. But all overall, I was surprised Netflix spent that much money.
Yeah, they put some money into that.
I want to make mentions in terms of great TV for 2022. Do not forget Succession and Ozark.
Ozark was amazing. I love Ozark. Yeah, I haven't watched Succession yet. I gotta watch that.
Succession's very good.
Yeah,
I just started watching it.
Me too. So. All right, thanks so much for coming through, boys. Give your outros. Go ahead, Ever.
Oh yeah, go to everbornsaga.com, buy my comic books, and that's it. Everborn Saga everywhere. That's it.
All right, Connor.
Soapbox Games on Twitter and YouTube. Check me out. Had a blast. Always love coming through.
All right, Slow.
Yo, Slow-Mo Backslap on everything. That's Twitter, that's Twitch, that's YouTube. Great show, guys. And I can't wait to do this again next year for the next season.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming through. Catch you guys later.